Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's me, RDV, with a special guest, John's Comics with Kids.
What
Uh,
is up?
hey, what's up, man? And my little sidekick, Andy Richter, Zach.
Andy Richter. What's up, everybody? I know this is almost look. I'm glad I didn't shave my face. If I shaved my face, you would have called me like Beaver Cleaver or something like that. It'd just be like,
I'm gonna be more concerned you're a choir boy.
I just spruce it up. It's almost New Year's. This is the last stream of 2022, so I decided to class it up a little bit.
It's all right. It's all right. We know you're wearing the
It's my
same colors.
comic book. It's my comic book. It's my Marvel bow tie too. You can't really tell, but it's my Marvel print bow tie. So.
Like I said, I actually prefer the lumberjack from Tuesday night. Just you get put the red and green suspenders on.
That is specifically why I dress this way, to avoid the lumberjack jokes.
There's nothing wrong with that. Guys and girls wear flannel. It's a thing. It's like that was a thing. They.
Oh, I love flannel. It's very comfortable.
Now, a lot of people wear flannel are people in Seattle.
Or when it's really cold.
Yes.
Yeah, did it finally warm up there by you, or are you still in the negatives?
You know what? 60 degrees today.
60? It was 70 down here.
Yeah, I was able to actually get a car wash, get all that salt from underneath my car, and then it's gonna rain for the next week, and then drop down by Wednesday and Thursday from like 50 something down to like 30.
Oof.
Hey, at least you're not below zero, though. I mean.
This is the first weird winter weather we had, because usually we do I guess there's climate change. I'll say that. There is climate change, but Greta's wrong about what it really is. Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg?
I don't know, but
I've never heard that one before.
Either
I was
way.
just noticing that awesome Dr. Doom statue behind you there.
Let me full screen myself. You can see that a little bit.
That's dope.
Oh, what? Is that new?
No, it's new. It's not really new, but I got Rogue from the Savage Land animated series Batman, Frank Miller.
I knew you had the Batman one. The Doom was new though.
The Doom I've had for a while. I just kind of move it around.
Oh, okay, you moved it around. Okay.
But he's
cool.
been further in the back behind everything, but I decided to move stuff because this is all my comic books. Well, half of my stack behind me. Then I got some more behind there with Mysterio. And my little room, my little dorm room is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As far as more stuff in it, but I'm getting more compact. So I'm on a little. They say how you shouldn't sleep on your comic books. I'm thinking I'll just sleep in the other room.
I knew a guy that basically laid his short boxes out, put a mattress on it, and then that was the box springs.
Don't do that.
No,
especially the car. You don't even with these ones are snapped together boxes. Not this one. This is the Iron Man printed box. They're like $15 in the shops. But the other ones are the BCWs.
Yeah.
I got the short box. They have the long box, and I was like, they're heavy as it is.
I don't like the long boxes. I have one long box, and I regret buying it. It is such a beast to pick up. I have long arms, but that thing is a mother to pick up, and then you've got to walk funny and angle swinging through doors. It's short boxes all the way.
So I have about 4 or 5 long boxes, I think.
Wow.
But
I stuck with short boxes exclusively, so that's all I've got.
Yeah.
I started off with long boxes. I was like 2003, 2004 when I first started in the comic books. So I was like, this is cool. And then I had my TV on top because I was on my my TV stand here, and then my TV on top of the boxes. So I could watch TV and a 32-inch. So I was like, and then if I want to get in the comic book, I just put the TV down, put it in there.
The best things I've found for mine are I've got them stacked too high, and I've got a piece of shelving across, and that's where I set my computer when I do my streams. I just basically made a desk with them.
Yes. So those, if you haven't checked out his channel, I'll post the link right in here for you guys. So go check it out later. But I love when you show off your slab books. You got the little Lego things. You use your kids' Legos to hold it up and stand.
Always more with Legos. Legos are awesome, man. That's one of the things that I'm like, that is not a kid's toy. That's always going to be John's toy.
That is an all ages toy. That is not just. They say it's from 5 to 80 or 5 to 9. That is, yeah.
I feel like Legos have just gotten more and more expensive because it's not for kids anymore. It's for adults.
Well, so many of them are licensed out too, so they got to make that extra money.
Action figures, right?
Yeah. they have so many more like like we didn't have Star
Well, that's
Wars
the
or
thing.
Marvel Legos when I was a kid. It was pirates and cowboys.
That's the thing. They got all the stupid IPs now, so it costs more because you got to pay for the
awesome.
IP.
That
This
is
the
awesome.
one, my daughter got this for Christmas. So she's like, I really want one of the Batmobiles. I was like, sweet, there's a tumbler. Let's get the tumbler.
Yeah,
Right?
the best Batmobile, I think.
So cool.
This is what I got. The Hot Wheel.
Ooh, the
Ooh.
Burton era.
Yep, and it slides
Very
open.
cool.
Oh, it opens nice.
You can, like,
Is there a
see
little
things.
Keaton that goes in there too?
No, a little Keaton. No,
He would fit
it's-
in there normal size. He's so tiny.
That's neat.
So I've been collecting all the little Hot Wheels. You know, I even got the. This is kind of beat up now, but the box. I've been whenever I see a Ghostbusters one, I just
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
you know.
Very cool.
That's the with me. Like I said, I chose the name Vank because real Dr. Vank because I figured I'd never be on YouTube. I'm just a guy watching stuff. I'm like my brother-in-law is Teddy Broken, and it's like, but he's not Teddy Broken. He just likes the character. It's like I don't know. So I got stuck with the name now. So I should just use my real name.
I know that's the thing with me. Like my Twitter name is Bowties Are Cool, just because I was really into Matt Smith's Doctor Who, and so now I'm like, I still like it, but it's like. Well, now I guess I have to wear bow tie. I have an obligation to the name.
Yeah, you at that point you're locked in.
Yep.
Hello to Ellie Hankerson. Commit a crime shortly after Gwen Stacy's death, or commit a crime shortly after Jason Todd's death. I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think it'd be safer to commit a crime after Jason Todd's death because Batman won't be chasing you. He'll be too busy grieving.
You think? I'm
Well,
worried
that
that
too-
both Batman and Spider-Man would spend their grief getting more brutal.
So would you rather be Gotham?
Good
Would you
point.
rather be committing a crime in Gotham or in New York and Marvel, where there's like 50 to 60 million superheroes?
That's true. But Gotham, I mean, Batman strikes fear into like everybody in Gotham, though.
It doesn't seem to be lowering the crime rate, though.
Yeah.
As
That
he gets
being said, I would probably still go with Jason Todd's, though.
oh yeah,
Okay, so you basically need a pissed off Batman or a pissed off Spider-Man.
if you leave Gotham, you might be fine because he doesn't usually leave Gotham, not necessarily. But Spider-Man, he's got that warning sense of danger. So if you try to take a shot at him, he just dodges your bullets.
I think I would rather meet a pissed off Batman because Spider-Man still has superhuman strength. So if he's not holding back, he can still Batman can probably kill you, but Spider-Man will kill you like more.
Just take
brutally.
longer.
Yeah. Oh, good point. It would take longer. Oh, good point.
Well, Batman holds you up from a freaking rooftop,
That's true.
and that would just scare the piss out of me from that.
That's true.
Spider-Man's just like
Well,
wants to talk to you friendly. I mean, I don't think you get to the point where he gets pissed off. He might hold you up, but he's not going to dangle you over a rooftop and just drop you and then catch you again.
they could both do that, honestly. I think Spider-Man would do that.
I think Superior Spider-Man probably did that.
Ooh,
To
yeah.
fight people.
Yeah, he probably would.
No thanks.
He probably would.
Uh,
If I was Spider-Man today, modern Spider-Man, I might do that. Just being so angry. Yeah, I lost Mary
gonna
Jane.
say,
again.
so you're going for post-crisis. So if we're going, or not even post-crisis, you're going to say post-crisis Batman, I guess.
You can't say post-crisis. I don't have any drinks that I can grab nearby.
He hates that I
You
always
can't
bring
say-
up post-crisis and the 80s Marvel because that's my favorite era at both companies.
There's a lot of crises, though. You really got to pick the one.
There really are a lot of
Yes,
crises.
yes.
It's not fair.
Well, yeah, the first post-crisis, after the first crisis, because now if you see post-crisis, there's been so many crises afterwards.
That's true. Infinite, Final, which, come on, guys. We've had the Final Crisis. You did 3 crises
Yeah,
after Final Crisis.
And doesn't Batman, spoiler alert, die in that one?
Yes. Yes, he does.
So after that crisis is the perfect time to deal with Batman because he's not around.
Exactly. There you go.
And if you're going, are we talking about Batman, like Dick Grayson Batman, or just,
Because that's when Dick Grayson does take over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I would rather meet a Dick Grayson Batman than a Bruce Wayne Batman. Dick Grayson has a little bit better temperament, I think.
I think I'd rather deal with the current Chip Zdarsky Batman versus the Chuck Dixon Batman.
Yeah.
I think they're a little more gritty.
I
In the
definitely
90s.
would rather meet either of those versus the Frank Miller Batman.
You know,
I'm scared of the Chip Zdarsky Batman because he seems to be the Batman most connected to the prep time theory of Batman, where it's like, the guy can do anything. He can fall from outer space to Earth and be perfectly fine. That's Batman now. Batman is basically immune to anything because he's got prep time. He planned for that.
Didn't you know that Batman
Boy Scout?
He's the Chuck Dixon, or not sorry, not the Chuck, but the Chuck Norris.
Yes, he's basically everybody calls Superman the Boy Scout, but it's really Batman because he's always prepared.
The hilarity for me though is we've got all these Batman comics where he's doing all these amazing things, but nobody shows him prepping for anything.
Oh yeah, I'll take this off panel. Yeah,
he's prepped for everything, right? But when is he doing the prep? Like that's my big question.
He started out in year one.
He's got like Batman prep time, where it's just him sitting around thinking up crazy shit and then making it.
Albert, what about this one? I'm done, sir. Albert's on his third glass of wine. I can't deal anymore. I'm done. The Jim Ballant Catwoman. Ooh.
I would happily meet Jim Ballant's Catwoman. That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody following the new Catwoman? I guess the teeny up tree.
No.
So I looked at the previews and I read the last issue. So apparently Selina's she's going to jail, and her friend from the New 52 has a Catwoman costume. So we're gonna are they replacing Selina Kyle with a new cat?
Is it what's her name? It's gonna come to me later on. She had a friend, and I can't remember her name, but it was like it started with an H, I think. But
Horatio.
No, not Horatio. I'll look it up. Probably it'll probably come to me later on.
Harriet, I don't know.
Nah.
The only time Catwoman shows up on my radar is when I look at all the amazing variants they do, because
that's the thing.
You've got two of the amazing art germ ones behind you there on the wall. Catwoman notoriously has the best variant covers. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That was during those covers are actually from the Jordi Belair run, I believe. Then Ram V took over.
Yep.
Or not Jordi Belair.
Yeah,
that's the name I was looking for. Evil Black Cat. Thank you. I thought Holly was the girl I was thinking of, but
it's Eco from New 52. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's the one thing. Check out Ram v Catwoman and then stop when he leaves, because you'll see how the quality just changed really, really much. And it's, I like Earth 2, Catwoman, Batwoman. Lena Wayne stuff. I understand they shouldn't be married in the main continuity. That's why you have the other Earths if you want to do something like that. Elseworlds.
To be fair, following Ram V is a pretty tough act.
Yeah.
Well, so I actually have 2 Ram V books in my.
I've got a Ram V book. Do I have 2? I think I have. I might just have 1, but I do have a Ram V.
Although there is one book though, I didn't get a chance to read though, but it comes out next week, and this is not. So they dropped my shop gave me back 131 for some reason.
Wow. You got a sneak preview.
That's a variant cover.
Very cool.
It is a new part. So basically, it takes right after its new story arc, and
that's the Chip Zdarsky Batman, right?
So it's called the Bat Man of Gotham Part 1. So.
I'm gonna stick for one more story arc, but I don't know if I'm ready for Chip Zdarsky's Batman. If he's going to be prep time Batman, it might just be too much for me.
Though, I kind of like I liked how the difference between Failsafe and what's going on with Detective Comics is the fact that you actually had one was nonstop Batman, the other one was detective.
It fits more to the branding for sure.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm an 80s action fan. I love when the high speed chase or just. That's kind of why I like the Mission Impossibles, and I kind of like the Fast and Furious. How hokey that is, but still, it's like it's nonstop action. Guys running cars.
Yeah, it's wall-to-wall action for sure.
Yep. So I love both of those movie franchises.
Ram V, what's your trusty sidekick? Ram V, that's a Dodge pickup, Ray says. That's how he's Undead Quinn. Catwoman turned into a bitchy feminist under Tina and made into a woman.
I like the idea that Mariana is talking about the weight of the bat belt. Like, how heavy is this belt? Like, what is the actual weight on the belt?
Yeah,
I'll let you know before you go any further. It's Maranya. So,
sorry.
Yes, yeah. She's the hen of the group. She's the one that will beat you up. So, but you're new though. She'll give you a pass. She'll just beat Zach up.
You mean
So
like you
continue.
do?
So, yeah. So,
But yeah, no, I agree though. Those gadgets, his pants would be falling down all the time with that utility belt.
who was
being
it? Talking. I forgot I was talking to. It was either Zach. Was I talking to you on Tuesday, or we were looking at the pouches, and just like, what are in some of these guys' pouches? Like, like,
yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah.
They never show them reach. Batman's the only one you see where once he goes into his utility belt.
Yeah.
But you see like Cyclops
an
X-Men.
Yeah.
Cyclops. Remember the 90s? He had the belt. Never used it. Never.
That was the 90s, though, right? Everybody had pouches, and
everybody had pouches. They made pouches look cool. I have fanny packs because they made pouches look cool.
Captain America has pouches for what? Grenades? He still has pouches.
Hey, there's a really great Batman story, right? He loses the belt, and all the crazy shenanigans that happen throughout the city when people start mixing around what's in the belt. They just start pulling stuff out.
I mean, I understand. Look at like Deathstroke. You can see the grenades down it, or the shells, shotguns, all over stuff. He has stuff.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
I just wish that DC would do this, or Marvel. If you're gonna have a character with pouches, occasional see him reaching in the pouch, grabbing something he's gonna use.
So yeah, I was just. It's funny because one of the books I was reading from my polls from last week had Superman's son use his belt, and I'm like, it dawned on me for the first time, like Superman and his son both wear a belt. Like, what are they doing with the belt? Like, what's the point of the belt?
Well, it's 352. I just use it. He'd hold up his underwear. So,
right.
Pants. That's what it was for. Or they have like a little thing. He touches button on his belt, and it calls the JSA. It's like not necessarily JLA, but the cartoons they all had ear communicators. So just tap the air.
Or they just kept asking the Martian Manhunter to connect them all.
Yeah, they all had the psychic link. Yeah.
Hey, John, connect with everybody.
Sorry, Riz, you hear the music playing in your head.
John has his own elevator music that he puts in people's brains.
He's going to put people on hold.
It's like Martian opera singing or something.
All right, so who wants to go first tonight?
You go ahead. You've got probably the biggest run there.
Yeah, you probably have more than I. I got a lot of books, but I'm sure you have more.
And I got to say, I am proud of you, Zach, for getting at least 11 books this week.
11 books in a trade. Guys, my wallet hates me. I never get 11 books in a week.
I've been really good. I've been down to like 4 or 5 a week, and I've been buying more trades and reading more trades.
So that's normally where I'm at. I'm at maybe 5 or 6 a week. I've been trying to cut down, especially with the miniseries, but somehow I still end up with like 2 or 3 miniseries.
I say, okay, I'm cool. I'm just get this, and then I see a new number 1 comes out. It's like a title I've never read before, or I haven't seen in a while. So it's like, all right, I'll get that.
That happened to me. One of my best books this week is one I didn't know was coming out, and I had no intention of buying it, but I saw it and I saw who wrote it. I was like, let me try this out. It was one of my favorite books this week.
Cool. Right, so my first books, I'll go first, I guess, and then John, I'll let you go. I don't know how many books do you have tonight, John. You got like 5 at least.
I only have like a handful from this week.
All right, even if they're left from last week, that's all right.
Yeah, I definitely have a bunch from last week.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. It's like Zach. Sometimes he has like only 3 books, and then he gets like, I just read this book from last week. I'm gonna talk about it.
3.
You used to, and then I started corrupting you.
Well, that's true. That's true. I finally whittled it down. I was saving money, and then you came along like, no, spend more money.
We would do a top 5. He's like, I barely have 5. It's like I have 5. Then for me, when you have more books and you like the books you're reading, it's harder to choose. So I envy you when you only have a few books. You're like, I'm good. So, all right. So my first book is a book. I got it because it has a little story here from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Even though I love Jeff Johns, I just didn't care enough to buy the book because it was expensive. And I didn't care for most of the writers. But my first book is Image, and it has a criminal story here. Now, this is my first time reading criminal, even though I bought the book. I got the volume on this, a criminal. The volume one. I just never have time to sit down and read it because I've been reading all the other books here. So,
welcome to the. You're now the newest entry into the Ed Brubaker fan club.
I will say, Criminal's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't maybe fun's not the wrong word. It's very exciting, very enjoyable.
So,
The first 2 trades I've read, I've got the full trade set, and I've only read the first 2, and I really enjoyed them.
So the first story here was part 9. It's from Jeff Johns, and that's the Blizzard. So that has 3 more parts, or actually no, 10, 11, 12. And then Criminal is on here. They also have Hack Slash versus Image Part 5 by Tim Seeley, Red Stitches Part 9 by Brendan Fletcher and Erica Henderson, Stupid Fresh Mess, which is Part 9 and 12 by Scotty Young and Nate Picos. Which I gotta say, Scotty Young is I love his stuff. And he's
a really good writer. I've been enjoying the Strange Academy stuff. I liked the Me You Love in the Dark Image series he did a year ago. It was really good.
So the Scotty Young is incredibly short. I was going through this. I was like, this is the Scotty Young. That's it.
Oh wow.
Pretty much. I think there's that's all it is. So Scotty Young is this part 9, and
I like that elf. That's that's the elf on the shelf I want for Christmas. Well, it's probably short because he's got Strange Academy going on.
So I love it because this is not a Scotty Young I'm used to with a potty mouth. So the little kid's like, Christmas sucks, it's over, and that sucks, and they have nothing to look forward to. And then the elf on the shelf gives him the finger when he's not looking. And he's like, well, what except you leaving me and finally getting a good night's sleep. Now that you won't be creeping around the house like a freaking pervert. It's like elf on the shelf also watching you.
He's got a great dark sense of humor. I mean, I that book, The Me You Love in the Dark, is basically about a woman getting it on with a poltergeist in her house. Like it's weird and creepy and funny and odd and
So I only read the Scotty Young and I didn't read the Jeff Johns, but I do like the scenery like this. But looking at it, anytime there's snow in a book, it's fun. Or even rain. But when I look at this, the painting and all that stuff, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Jacques a little bit. As far as if you read Snow Angels by Jeff Lemire and Jacques, you'll see when he draws the scenery how, especially with the snow, it's just he does blizzards awesome. It's like Vince Coletta just came in and just erased everything for him. If you don't know Vince Coletta used to erase Jack Kirby's background.
Oh, ouch!
Inker, yeah. Kirby would do all the stuff in the background, a little detail, and here comes Coletta. He just erases everything. That just leaves something. So those two do not get along. But so the Criminal story was actually pretty good. Like I said, first time reading a Criminal story. I'll show you some of the artwork in it. But
are you a Brubaker fan at all? Have you read much of his stuff?
I do like Brubaker. I really love his Winter Soldier.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's probably my favorite thing by him. So I've read some other stuff. I read some of his I think he did Catwoman. So
yeah, he did a Catwoman run. He did a Daredevil run that I've been meaning to read.
It's so good.
I've been reading a lot of his. I've read several of his indie books this year. I read Fade Out over summer, which I love the Fade Out, and then I read Pulp, which is a little bit shorter but still a really good read. Yeah. And I've been meaning to get into Criminal. I'm about to start dipping my toes into Criminal. I'm getting a lot of peer pressure.
There is one book in here that's called Dead Eyes, and apparently it's gonna be a new ongoing series through Image.
Oh, okay.
It's a vigilante just breaks in, and he's got like these stitches over his eyes. You see him in there.
Oh wow!
And it reminds me of a book I read by Joe Casey back in the day. I forget what it's called, but he basically was
isn't that was it Dead Rabbit or whatever? The something Rabbit. Didn't they have to rebrand and rename that comic because it was like the name of a club in New York or something? I
can't remember, but I do remember this. It was Joe Casey writing a really old Image book or something like that, and it was basically about a guy he go after people with skip bonds. He was a bounty hunter, and he was a superhero though, but in fact he had superpowers. So he would dress up, put a mask on, and he would go take the abused criminals in. And meanwhile, nobody knew except for his best friend that he was actually the guy hiring this guy out, to do stuff. He was just, and his girlfriend was a dancer at a club. Yes, it was CD 6 issues. And I was like, that was my first. I forgot what it's called though, but it was like an old Joe Casey stuff. But like I said, I'm looking at this. This is Image. this is that book. He's just beating the crap out of the guy, thumbs to the eyes. I still got to sell it. It's on the bottom of the list. It's not the worst book I've read. It's the fact there's just so many stories here that I just didn't care for. I maybe like two or three stories out of this under book, and I think there's like multiple here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 11 books here.
Oh, you got 11 books too?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 10. There's 10 books in this thing.
Oh,
stories.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I only like 2 out of here. Like, so basically, like for $6, it's still $6 though. So you might like the stuff in here. We just lost John. The joys of being an iPad on a live stream, and then you try to open a window. So,
wow. Technical difficulties.
Right. So we'll see if he pops in a second. Hopefully, he goes back. Yeah, on vacation. And then your source is an iPad. So, all right. So that was
Ash said he picked up 5 books this week. That's a big week for Ash. There he is.
You can't look up stuff on iPads.
Clearly, it's not. It's too much for the internet. Crashed the whole thing.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so that was 15. So
yeah, 15 books.
Yeah, bro.
Good Lord.
So number 14 is a Tynan book that I was beginning love in the beginning, and I give this like a 2 stars, 2 out of 5. This ending was just horrible.
Oh, is that the final issue?
Yeah, the final issue.
I read how it ends.
I won't spoil it for anybody who wants to read it, but I just couldn't get into it. I was like, and I had no idea. I'm like, oh, it meant because usually Rosenberg's on there. It's like, is Tynan writing this, or is it Rosenberg writing it? Because to me, they have different styles of, I guess, ideas what they do.
They both had to go along with that ending, and it was not. I read the ending, but
the ending kind of leaves it like on a cliffhanger in a sense, because there's still hope, but it's like I just don't like that. Barbara is written out of character. I don't think she would have done their choice that she makes a choice at the end. But yeah, to me it was just like I mean, I did like. There's a scene here with Oliver and Grifter and Swamp Thing and the Hawkman. Because Hawkman is a vampire in this, and then Grifter and on Green Arrow versus Hawkman, and then like he's got Swamp Thing, and with him too, and just how they dispatch of Hawkman, who thinks he's I'm a god now. You can't harm me, you human. It's just like these aren't my normal arrows. Don't worry. So fun story.
Yeah, I generally have avoided most of the event or what I don't even want to say like alternate universe stories.
Yes.
I didn't care for Taylor's deceased. So I read shockingly almost all of it, and every time I don't know why, every time I was disappointed.
Oh really?
Really? Oh,
I
wow.
actually enjoyed Deceased for the most part. I mean, but yeah, this seems like a ripoff of Deceased, kind of but we're gonna use vampires instead.
Yeah, I mean they're catching in on the idea.
It also just went on for way too long. Like this thing started last October, and it took a year and 2 months to finish. Like way too long. So
right.
It's funny because some books they'll seem to let have big gaps in their publication schedules, and others they're going to rush and throw in an artist who's not on the book to fiinish the book. It's like there's no consistency.
The sad thing is DC versus Vampires had Otto Schmidt's art, and I love Otto Schmidt's art style, so that's why I was picking it up for a while. But
nice.
Yeah, the story you can only put up with so much of that story though.
My next book, I had to get the Terry Dodson cover.
Ooh. You had the Terry Dodson. I didn't have the Terry Dodson cover.
Paid a little more.
Mm.
I had a feeling the book was going to be 50-50 as far as whether they're going to like the story or not. But there are some things that do happen. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Covers are always worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, that's just the She-Hulk we want.
Right.
Hey, I'll give you $5 for it.
Look at those gams.
Those gams. Those shoes.
Especially with the bar, the beam like this, Benelli's, I keep thinking of The Thing. When he was always crushing the beams and all, he was working out.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I said, this was not an enjoyable book for me. Another one, that's why it's at the bottom of the pile. It's a little bit better than DC Vampires, which I just was basically buying it just to fill up the series so I can just sell the all 1 through 12. So I'm like, when I'm like 6 books in the deep, and like people are not going to buy it unless you buy it as a complete set, you know, because they want the whole thing. So, yeah. So this series, like I said, it's become more of a, I want to say a rom-com, but it's kind of like, it's Jennifer basically wanting a romance, with She-Hulk, between her and Jack of Hearts, and there is fourth wall breaking in this issue specifically, and it's done better than the show.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you got to have that with a She-Hulk book, but that's
you should. There was a Defenders run from was it Defenders? It might have been. It was some run from the early '90s, and She-Hulk made a guest appearance and broke the fourth wall in a guest appearance of this Defenders run.
So so I was hoping that, like I said, hoping that this would pick up more. I'm still on the iffy because it's like, as far as what happens at the end, I don't know if this is only issue 9, if it's just going to be like a limited series and just kind of drop off. Because I don't know, it's weird how certain books just immediately get canceled, but Captain Marvel goes on forever.
Well, I know that like a lot of the like X books are like rebooting with new titles, so they're like they're going back to issue 1, but it's the same creative team, same characters, but now they got a new title and they're going issue 1, like the Superman book is doing with Tom
Zdarsky. Zdarsky did that. Spider-Man.
And Daredevil just rebooted to number 1 not too long ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going on. It's getting to the point where I'm like, do they really want to keep picking up if it's just going to drop the number 1? Just forget the legacy number. Just they say it's volume 16.
Yeah.
Hello, Eric.
Just let people know when there's a new like jumping on point. Like you don't have to put it back to number 1. If you want to get new readers but your title's been around, just put on the cover fresh story arc or new jumping on point or something.
Remember, are you wearing a bow tie, Zach?
It's the last Thursday of 2022. I decided to class it up a little.
You look like Jimmy Olsen.
That's why I still have the beard, because if I shaved this, I would definitely look like Jimmy Olsen.
I thought he got possessed by Dalton.
So Venkman, congratulations on getting your own little cub reporter.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
Too bad.
I guess that he's slowly turning into Riker from Star Trek.
Now that's a huge compliment. I'll take that all day.
I have no idea. Is that a Next Generation reference? I stopped after the original series.
Replace, believe it or not.
Kirk is the best Star Trek captain.
Ash, if you want to class it up, you got to extend the pinky when you drink.
There you go, just for you, Ash. I don't have it's not a can, so I can't get the when I open it, but.
All right, fine. Number 12. I'm picking up because I there's codes in here for guests for the game, so it has some resale value. Been liking the story. It takes place back in the 1700s. Now, after reading Ram V's Detective Comics, his version, I was like, doesn't really live up to it, but it's still kind of cool. I don't care for the present day stuff. What's going on? It's to me that part is the present day stuff stories is garbage. But the same writer, when he writes like the old 1700s, having a Gotham and just having the Court of Owls, I've been liking it. So it's a half good, half bad.
That's the theme of the show tonight.
Yeah,
great.
You gotta take the good with the bad.
Now, like I said, that might be somebody's number 1.
And then you get the facts of life.
Were you watching that, Eric? That's what took you so long? for Joe?
No, Englentine played a dirty trick on me. He saved the stuff that I cared about until, for the second half.
We're gonna save Zach for you to the second half, but he showed up the very beginning.
So.
Yeah, I know. I was actually on time tonight.
And John was ready to start like 2 hours ago.
I was really ready.
That it screws you up, man. That mountain time and then changing time zones for the on vacation.
I heard good things about this 007 run.
Yeah, so I've
Yeah,
been liking this. Yeah, this is I guess number 11. I think. Yeah, we're on.
Who's the creative team on that one?
This is Phil Kennedy Johnson.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
In Finnegan. I don't remember what his first name is, but I'm sure there's a joke there with the last name Finnegan. I'm sure it's famous for something. But I guess I got this
again. Who heard of him the first time? All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Zach.
Why are you still here? You said good night.
All right. So yeah. Anyway, so basically, this is the variant cover because the main cover had some other guy. I don't know if it was supposed to be James Bond on there, but it didn't look like James Bond. It looks like they just hired some guy off of like a 70s movie. Just put an ascot on him and just put him in front of the flag and just had a beard. And I was like, almost like Zach in front of but a little more pudgy and more British. So I got this cover. This is it looks kind of cool. It's a black, white, and red almost the background, black and white, and then he did the blood on this up. Yeah. This has been a fun story. I mean, this is my first James Bond story that I've written in comic book form. So I never went back and read. I guess Warren Ellis had one back in the day, or something like that. And I've been enjoying. It just feels like a classic Bond. You get when I'm reading it, it kind of feels like Connery, a little bit of Pierce Brosnan. A little bit like Daniel Craig and their attitudes. And basically Bond discovers another organization, kind of like Spectre, and he has to infiltrate them and find out what's going because he one of his predecessors, 003, a woman, basically another agent who he trained with, and she winds up dead, and he basically wants to go off the books and figure out what she was involved with.
For some reason.
Also, he banged her too, so he has attachments.
There were no Bond series all the years where you could have done them like the Connery movies. There were newspaper strips that have been collected.
Oh wow!
But I've seen a couple of those at Half Price Books, and they're pretty cool. I wish I'd picked them up. Now, unfortunately, comics come with too many rules that kind of. If you get a good Bond book, that's great because what's his name? Chris Gage did one about a year and a half ago where he
Christos Gage,
where he had to join Spectre to bring him down from within. But before that, we got the awesome writing stylings of one Vita Ayala, and Danny Lore.
So like who I was
Vagar or Vargar was the one that James Ellis or Warren Ellis, James Ellis, wrote. So
I get Warren Ellis and Garth Ennis mixed up in my head all the time.
It would have been great to see a Bond series in the 70s.
So Gore Vidal is saying that Mike Grell did one in the 80s.
Oh wow!
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
But Gore, did it come out in comic book form, or was that part of the newspaper strip series I was talking about?
Might have been newspaper strip.
Because I don't recall ever seeing a comic.
Unless it was like actual. Do you think maybe it was written without like a regular novel?
I don't
With
know.
Philip Kennedy Johnson, I was like, that's what drew my eye to that book and made me think about reading it.
Yeah.
So I said I don't really read. I like Bond. I like old school Bond. I mean, the only one I don't care for is Moore. It's okay. Daniel Craig started off good, kind of got flaky towards the end of his last movie. I was like, last movie was a flop for me, but I mean, it's the part with Batista coming back as Jaws.
So, excuse me for a second, John. I'm going to assume that Gore is probably here because of you.
I don't know.
Do you know him? I mean, do you know him? Or is that? Or are you? Do you do stuff with like Howler Mouse or Scott Connor or Jared Osborne, those guys?
No, I don't think so.
That's usually where I see Gore in Howler Mouse streams.
Yeah, so-
Gore just seems to show up in so many awesome chats. So he's usually wherever the good conversation's happening.
So once again, there's John's link in the comments right there, chats.
Thank you.
Yeah, I said I met John through Perry,
Yeah,
and I met
We're
Perry, and
always on the late night drinking shows with him.
except that I was the only one drinking.
Is
No.
that one of those 2,700 bars you got in your state? You drunk?
Yeah, you know, you told him that. It's like, you know what though? As I was telling John, California is like 3.
Yeah,
They're number 3.
If I'd had that knowledge 31 years ago, I'd have been moving to Wisconsin.
I know, right? Montana,
We had a whole
Wisconsin, North Dakota.
So we had a whole conversation about this on Instagram. I was just like, yes, we're just depraved souls up here. Winter, we're freezing to death. There's everything's dead around us, so we just go and drink and be merry with other people, or we drink alone.
That's why you're not freezing to death. You're filling up with whiskey and bourbon and stuff. It's keeping you
Well,
warm.
no, the other thing is it thins out the herd up here too, because people get there's that too, freezing to death because I'm so warm and go for a smoke break and then they pass out and freeze to death. Well, we also have the Milwaukee River too, and there's here's the waterfront basically, or what's called Water Street, because it's right along the river. So I'm thinking, so there's always at least 2 or 3 people going into the river on New Year's. You know, now whether somebody pushed them or they fell in, that's perfect. It's a perfect way though. Like I said, to thin out the herd because it gets cold up here, but women have to wear their skimpy little outfits in the club, and I just laugh as like, I'm going to Dr. We have a bar. It's called Dr. McGillicuddy's, and it's a local tavern, and they do the stuff. And I go in there. I'm like, this just sounds cool. I go in that one. It's just like older people. Now I'm one of the older people now.
Yeah,
Because
you got
Water
enough gray in the beard. Yeah,
Water Street down here in Milwaukee is pretty much just basically for people who are like in their 20s. Those will go down there. And my friend he went to the MATC down there, so he had free parking in the parking structure. So it's like we only had to walk 3 blocks. So I'm wearing my coat. I'm like, and I walk by and see girls, and I'm like, yeah, they're gonna freeze to death, or because you're walking in heels too, and it's like there's snow on the ground, black ice, everything.
Bet there wasn't a lot of that last week though.
yeah.
No,
Even I don't care how much it's important to be seen looking good. It was just too damn cold last week for any of that nonsense.
where is William F. Buckley Jr.? I'm not sure. I don't get that reference.
Well, Gore Vidal and
Gore
William
did.
Buckley were famous for having
okay.
debates and the conservative and liberal perspectives.
Okay, only Gore I know is Al Gore. So
There's Gore
I'm-
Verbinski, who directed the Pirates of the Caribbean.
So
yeah.
All
There's
right.
some if you've seen like Gattaca or whatever. Gore Vidal's an actor in that. He's in.
yeah, okay. Oh, wow, that's an old movie. Wow, that was Ethan
He's in a
Hawke,
few
right?
different movies, but that's the first one that jumped to my mind.
Ethan Hawke's not that old of an actor, though.
No, that's my favorite actor, though. One of my favorite.
Oh,
actors.
he's your favorite? Oh, okay.
That handsome Ethan Hawke guy. He was the best guy in Moon Knight. So, all right. So number 11, it's Frankenstein, and this has Tom Sinofsky. If you're wondering who that is, because these are like Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden. Tom Sinofsky is from the Harris days of Vampirella before Dynamite, and he did Vengeance of Vampirella. He wrote Vampirella Strikes, and then they were bought out by Dynamite, and he recently came back in 2019 to finish the series he was writing, Vengeance of Vampirella. Went to 25, left on a cliffhanger, came back 2019 from almost 20 years later, and decided to finish that storyline. It just wrapped up last year. It was fun, and then like I said, I was like, oh my gosh, and it's just something when you have a writer who wrote awesome stuff in the 90s, comes back and finishes the story, and it doesn't miss a beat.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So this is basically Frankenstein. I guess I'm not sure. I don't really read a lot of Hellboy, but that's where his character is from. And it's supposed to take like 3 or 4 generations after the world's been basically it's a new Eden. So basically, everyone that was on top, humans, went down in like the cave in the bottom of the earth and just lived there in the center of the earth. And now they ventured out because this little girl has a psychic connection with Liz, Hellboy's girlfriend. I'm not sure if Hellboy's going to pop up in this or not, but it's just been really cool. Just seeing the art in this it's like Lone Wolf and Cub. So if you like that, you're getting that a little bit of imitation here too, and just seeing all new creatures. It says like, of course, with all the new life, there's evil. There's like evil little monsters start killing. There's frog people in here too. Little staffs and spears, and it's just so cool. It's like and there's like Venus. Remember the plants you see in Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah,
they got those plants. Too. Yeah, the plants they don't just bite you. The seeds of.
Yeah, the piranha plants. Yeah.
Well, these ones have these are like a Little Shop of Horrors combined, and they have the vines to try to drag you in.
Feed me, Hellboy.
It's just beautifully written, and the art is just captivating. So I just drew me in. That's why I've been picking these up.
Awesome.
All right, number 10 is Red Sonja, Immortal Red Sonja. Just this issue was just I give it 4 stars, man. It was just a fun series, especially this one, and they're basically like it's basically Sir Galahad and Lancelot and Merlin, and then here's Sonja and like and all. How are we going to get to this sword in time before the other evil, picks up Excalibur and takes over the land? And Sonja's like, easy. I may have a broken sword, but I can still kill people. And she's like, she goes and she stabs people. People are getting the limbs cut. And then she's like, now I have an axe. The comedy is great in this. All right. Number 8 is Sergeant Rock. Up and down with this. Bruce Campbell writing it. You wouldn't even know it's Bruce Campbell unless you, I guess, saw that him on the bottom here, where it says his name.
Good Lord, that's Zach on the cover.
I know, isn't it? I told you, it's getting closer and closer. And then
put a bow tie on Sergeant Rock, and
he looks too angry to be me.
There's Zach on the back left. The future.
Oh, they snuck Dum Dum Dugan in there. They just gave him an army hat instead of a bowler hat.
Yeah,
I see you, DC.
So it's Gary Frank cover. Edward Rizzo doing the interior. It's just cool. It's just basically if you gave Sergeant Rock's team, gave him like flamethrowers, rocket launchers, infrared scopes and stuff. Now walkie-talkies, and they're taking on the undead, basically of zombies and Nazis. The only thing that's missing on here for Zach is basically the dinosaurs.
Yeah. That's true. There's 4. No. You're actually missing quite a few. You've got one secret ingredient there. One of the 4.
Oh, you're missing the cheesecake.
You're missing the cheesecake and the giant robots and the dinosaurs. You've got the Nazi zombies, but you need the other 3 to make it a perfect book.
Zach, is that a short sleeve shirt?
No, it's long sleeves. I just rolled it up.
Okay.
You know why? Because he's got to start boxing.
Because I was going to say that you're a short sleeve shirt away from being the manager of a department at a department store.
He's just becoming more and more like Chris Pratt. That's what I've noticed.
Chris Pratt doesn't wear bow ties. He doesn't wear collared button-up shirts.
But you're becoming more like him on was that Community? Or was it on Parks?
Oh Parks. Yeah, I guess in Community. Yeah. Oh no, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. I'm just saying, you're starting getting the beard going. You're starting the.
I don't play guitar and I don't sing to children, so I'm never going to go full Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec.
So, like I said, it's World War II. I love this World War II. Anytime they go back to that, and you're just lighting zombies on Nazi zombies who can still think, don't have a hunger for flesh, but they're reanimated, so you have to like either set them on fire or shoot them, bash their brains. So there is gore in here a little bit, so you see brains mashed in, eyes, stuff. So it's been fun for me reading that. All right, so we're on to number 7. Carnage Ram V. This has been a fun book, unexpectedly. Takes place after Absolute Carnage. Huge reveal in this. I'm not gonna say what it is, but you need to go check it out. It's just overall, just the writing in this is great. I'll just say the beginning is a kid. So he's going to, there's an old house here. It's got a haunted house here. Like, nobody goes in it. Imagine it's old orphanage. And I'm thinking like, this is Cassidy in the old orphanage, And it's like, so the kid's on his cell phone. He's like, you guys, I'm going here. Oh, so far there's a supposed ghost house. Yeah, 2 stars. Walks in there and he starts seeing like it says like there's a scalpel that says like a pound of flesh, or something like that, and just it gets horrific.
Get out of there right away.
No, that's all I'm gonna say. And the next issue has him actually wearing like someone's face, like Joker style, and it looks like Volstagg, which is funny because it has the beard. But you'll understand once we read this issue. It's like I said, I was like, I mean, it's Ram V, and then you're giving me Carnage, and it's not funny Carnage; it's creepy Carnage,
as it should be.
Yes.
So, all right. So number 6 is this is a book from Scout Comics. This came out. This is basically I actually really love this. If you're watching the Jack Ryan series, season 3 or now, with the Russian conspiracy and stuff like that, this takes place in basically oil. Basically, their oil. I guess there's not a oil refinery. The cops show up, the Russian police show up there, and they find 2 of the most prominent gangsters, and basically all dead in the thing, shot up and stuff. And one of them is actually one of the main leaders in there, and the cop is just freaking out. It's like, oh, is this a normal? And then there's unknown ceiling here. Who's this woman here? And then there's people in like a squat gear, and there's this guy named Charlie Joseph Winters, and I'm not sure if he's American CIA, but they say he's American. He's been stabbed. He goes in there, goes seeking asylum. Or not asylum, but he goes trying to get help. He ends up getting goes to this bar here, asks this guy, hey, if you give me the airport, I don't have money on me, but and they end up trying to basically like beat him up. Oh, they were like, oh, he doesn't have money, until this woman steps out and just saves him. I have no idea who it is. There is another agent here, basically. She's the lower level in the CIA, and they says like, oh, this so-and-so person, and we need you to go with Russia and smooth things over, so they don't think that we're involved, because we think this ex CIA person who was fired might be involved in this. So it's a spy kind of comic book, and it's kind of cool. I mean, so really digged it.
Veg, have you started season 3 yet?
Oh yeah, I'm almost done. I only got 2 more episodes.
Zach,
I'm behind. I haven't started yet.
When you get back out into the dating world, if you go to a bar and the bartender offers to take you to a soccer match, say no.
Yeah. So, this was it's my first Scout image or Scout comic book. I've never heard of them before. I've seen around, but I've never really like looked to see where they're from. But so they must be fairly new. But I want to show you guys.
They had a series I was reading either last year, it might have been 2 years ago. It was called like Boy Scouts, or it was like something where like an apocalypse had happened and the Boy Scout code had become like the code everybody lived by. You know what I'm talking about, John?
Yeah. Oh crap.
I can't remember the name of it. Scouts Honor. I think it was called Scouts Honor.
So the great thing about this, I'm reading this. There's a guy. I said that guy in here. You see him he's on the waving right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like he's the American, and the cops show up and he's walking and he's trying to get out of there. He's just he's injured, and the cops like, what are you doing here? He's I'm here with my girlfriend. I lost the hotel way and all that stuff. It's just like, and it just feels like Jack Ryan, like when he's when you're on a fugitive, like the cops are like it's like yeah. And just like they basically are gonna like hey, maybe next time you book a holiday, make sure you don't drag your girlfriend to somewhere like Capatunya or again. You're lucky she didn't leave you for bringing her the first time. And just like the intense scene here, the cops pull him over, they pull up around side. He's like, oh crap, what do I do? It's like he's injured, trying to get out of the country, and I said it's high suspense. I've been liking it, so I would really recommend this. It always came my number 1. But of course, I read other books and I'm like, oh my gosh, these books are better, but not because they're not spy. So I would say my number 1 for spies is getting this. If you're looking for a new spy tale, Undead Quinn was a Scout book, right? And this is $4.99, and I would say I kind of like this better than most of the other stuff that's coming out today. The big two. So if you're looking for stuff, by the time we get to John, he'll be slurring his words.
Right,
You're drinking apple soup later.
No, I'm drinking bourbon.
Bourbon. Nice. It's all right. So, quickly get down my top 5 here, and then I guess whoever wants to go next can go next. So my number 5 is gonna. I'm not gonna say it. I'll just say this. It's this. It is just a fun parody book. It's meant to be a parody. It's going to be offensive. It says in the book it's mature. It's for adults. It's a little bit of crass humor in there. Now it's not for everyone. I understand right now. There's so many serious books going on right now as far as the X-Men like that. So for me, this was kind of like I can just sit back and I can read something, and just have a laugh.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
On your recommendation, I went and read the first 2 issues of it. Yeah, it's funny. Like I laughed a couple of different times, and I'm a big Laura Kinney fan ever since reading the all new Wolverine Tom Taylor run, which I think is just a phenomenal run.
Yeah.
And I think they used her really, really well. I was enjoying, like, just in the second issue, just seeing her get to cut into it.
Yeah. So, and like I said, the whole thing with this is like if you focus on the dialogue between Jubilee and Boom Boom, to me it's just fun. And then Dazzler's kind of like she's the serious one. If you're like say like Charlie's Angels, she's the serious one, and then you get the other 2 are kind of like just kind of like commenting on each other. It's like like especially the comment is like, well, if your big butt was in the way, it's like I get worried about it, and it's just it's just stupid. Kind of like humor. So
I laughed. I did laugh for sure.
Yeah.
And Zach, you're right. It is a Scout's Honor was Aftershock.
Aftershock, yeah. Undead Quinn got
that. It was a really good read. Like to Zach's point, like definitely worth a trade if you guys haven't read Scout's Honor.
Yeah,
it's a great read.
Thought it was fun.
And the bourbon the bourbon's called Noble Oak. It's just something new that I snagged before Christmas. I to try different bourbons, and I saw it at the store, and I got it.
Nice.
No drinking and skiing.
No, I
drink after you ski because that's what you heard. All right, so my number 4 is Claremont's X-Men, Extreme X-Men.
Nice.
I don't know. I said I.
How many pouches are on that belt? How many pouches?
That's the other thing too. We were talking about this. This is the book we were talking about because, like, oh my gosh, he's got pouches there. Wolverine carries ammo clips.
He carries ammo clips, but he has no gun to put them in.
And then he has like I don't know. Maybe it's his cigars in the pouch there. We just never.
I was going to say it's probably lighters and cigars.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. He's got a 10-pack. He's got them all wrapped in there. So.
And a beer.
He could have a flask down there. We never know about that.
It's true.
Knowing him.
Ash says those are cigar pouches. Right. I just like I said, I like the belt, their locking kind of thing. But I'm thinking like after a while that would just cut into your abs.
So I'm a big Claremont guy, but I've always felt like those guys when they come back to write later in life, it's never as good. How have you been feeling about this run?
This one I like. It's funny you say that because he came back in 2001 to write the original Extreme X-Men, and he just went his own way. Which I enjoyed because he had X-Men. I think it was Messiah Complex was going on, or shortly after that. Was it?
And he just did a Gambit comic, not like 6 months ago or whatever.
I enjoyed that. Now this him and LaRocca, to me, it just feels like that go back to 2001. They went for like 60 issues or something like that, and it just feels the same. And the great thing about Claremont, he calls back to the 80s, the story with Ogun. With Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, the miniseries.
Yeah, it's basically what this is basically branching off of. Now It's only 5 issues, which I'm kind of sad because like it's another limited thing. Like, I don't know if maybe these old guys just don't want to write that much. I'm thinking maybe they don't.
A lot more work, right? Than they
or they don't want to pay him that much.
Could be that too. I'm kind of tempted to think it's that more than the other one. But
true. It's probably it might be a combination. Who knows, man? Like, it's like you get in your 60s and like, if you're drawing or if you're writing, like, well, technically they're not really writing. They probably have somebody like have someone type it for me and dictating to. It's like,
John makes a good point though about the older writers. Like with Claremont, to ask Claremont to replicate what he did with his original X-Men run would be like asking Bob Dylan at this point of his life for another Blonde on Blonde or Highway 61. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be good, but it's never going to be because you've already achieved the absolute pinnacle.
Like I said, I would never say Extreme X-Men is better than the actual normal X-Men he did stuff. Uncanny, with Byrne, I would never say that. And then again, I've never read those. I've only read a few. I've read the Brood Saga, but I like these. It's a whole different kind of animal. Excuse the pun. Wolverine the cover. That was my Zach joke for the night.
Good job.
All right, I owe you a quarter.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited that I'm here and you got 2 X-Men books right here at the end of the show.
Yeah, I said this just feels like totally different than the normal X-Men. So if you like Claremont's with Byrne and you go to read Extreme X-Men, it's gonna be a little different. You may not like the direction. Like I said, it's extreme, so everybody has like the leather and stuff. It's like remember when Blade was big? So Blade had the red sunglasses. Bishop has those. They call Storm Ro in this. They don't call her Storm. They just call her Ro. Rachel Price.
As long as Wolverine's done calling people calling all the women frails, I think we're okay.
Yeah, he didn't call them that, but I don't think he's called anybody bub in this either. So I'm kind of like, he probably has. My memory's going though. But overall, like I said, it just feels like back to 2001 again, 20 years ago, and the fact that he calls back to his miniseries back in the day too is very cool. And I'm sure like Claremont's one of those guys. He openly says he does not like Krakoa, doesn't like the current X-Men, and I agree with them for most parts, but I like when they actually allow somebody to write an Elseworld story for the X-Men and have it, everything has to be tied into these days now as far as the X-Men titles. And then
that's one of the curses of Marvel, I think, is they're far more reticent to dive into the Elseworld mode.
That's DC.
That's their whole market at this point,
Multiverse DC.
Yeah.
They're basically becoming the manga version of the if DC was a manga company, they would be a great manga company, but they'd at least be a manga company having different titles, different stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry for anybody who likes manga over comic books. I apologize if I offended you by saying DC is kind of like manga.
I was going to say a large portion of the world at large probably does, but it's not the Americans.
The reason I bring it up because manga has something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, they have, if you want to get think about hockey, volleyball, baseball, basketball, it's their sports. It's so there's all different things. There's big mecha robots, and just like gangs, Tokyo Revengers are now time travel.
I'm pretty sure Initial D got 200 pages out of one drift in a race.
Legends has it they're still erasing today.
They may be. You talk about decompressed storytelling.
Well, yeah, that was the Tokyo Drift. That's Furious, same thing. It was just them turning left. It's just, and it's got the point where it's like, I was getting motion sickness and they're racing inside the parking structure trying to race. I'm like, no, and nobody crashed. That was the other thing. So, no, so. Yeah, I like this. It's got a focal point and taking on Ogun, and trying to, and Gambit in this issue has ideas like, well, he's dealt with you, Wolverine, but he's never met with the likes of Gambit. He doesn't have a read on Gambit because Gambit is just unpredictable. So fun book. Art's great. I want to go on too long on that. All right, so number 3 is Moon Knight. is just awesome. Moon Knight actually pulls a John Constantine move in this with the sprinklers. Remember the holy water? So they kind of do something similar here in this too. So they kind of steal it from that. But overall, it's just Moon Knight just being a badass. So, and need I see more? That's all I want. You even have Tiger, and she's like, it's like, oh, I'm ready to dance, and she extends her claws, and they're silver tipped because they're going against vampires.
Yep.
And it's just a fun book from beginning to end. I'm curious to see where it's going to go.
Who's the writer on that these days? I can't remember.
Jed MacKay, who is probably my favorite of the Marvel writing bullpen right now.
Yeah. I do like Cates because he was at least doing something world building, and then
Cates is good too, but now he's kind of on hiatus, or he's off somewhere, hopefully getting better. Yeah. But MacKay's stuff, he's been killing it with Moon Knight. That's probably my favorite thing that he's been writing so far.
Number 2, Detective Comics. This is the new one came out yesterday, and this is issue 1067. This continues with the storytelling from the previous issues, where it left off, where basically Batman and this wolf preacher guy working for the Olgrams or the new family, whatever.
Yeah,
they're yeah. So they've been there before the Court of Owls. So like that's the only problem with this story, Ramby, is that he doesn't acknowledge the Court of Owls. The other family is existing, has basically a control over Gotham, before the Court of Owls. So, and I said the back issue, I think it was the annual that had talked about that backstory, and it's just in the 1700s. It is awesome.
Yeah.
And it ties into basically, if you those remember, that is basically when Batman was going through time. So Batman actually meets the vigilante that's in this and sets up a Batman for the 1700s. Which, in the long run, you think would kind of mess up everything because he's changing time. So at the end of the last issue, Batman's frozen in ice, and he's in there. He's got this little light blinking on and off, the red light, warming up his suit. And then they're in like a sewer part, like beneath Arkham. And what happens is that the water rushes in. As he gets washed through, Dr. Freeze saves his life. And I'm going to go on here as far as I'm going to go with this, but it's setting up the villain. I'm pretty sure this is going to be coming to a conclusion soon with the story, or at least right now, it's basically setting up the point where everything's stacked against Bruce right now, and he's going to overcome the odds because he prepared for this, family.
He prepared
when he was traveling through the time. I bet you that he's going to have something like that guy's ancestors going to be like, "I'm ready to help you," his descendants. It's like, "I'm ready to go." And of course, Arkham Asylum was a big thing, was destroyed in this run. Not this issue, but previous issues, so they tore it down. It just seems to be a theme going with Detective Comics. Murko Tamaki they tore down it, and then he built the Arkham Tower for Shadow of the Bat series, which is a good 12-issue little story arc, and with the Bat family. Everyone but Bruce.
Those are usually my favorite Batman books.
And there was I don't think there was any eating in there. Just drinking coffee though. So, but overall, so yeah, I just checked this out. It's fun. And then I said, I love it when Batman's frozen, like by Mr. Freeze. He has the thermal suit and just kind of melts it. Where he said, he's sitting there struggling. He's like, he's like, I'm holding my breath. It's like pins and needles. I gotta wait for the oxygen. He's running out of oxygen. And he's just like, I see it. Because he's staring at the other guy. He's just like, he's like, I can hear him clawing and ragging, and yeah. So he's getting. Uh-oh, John, you still there? It's on the iPad. All right. And he'll pop back in. 3, 2, 1. There you go, Ash.
I think it's 1, 2, 3, isn't it? I thought this debate had been settled.
I don't know.
No, the debate is whether or not the opening of the can is before the 3, 2, 1 or after.
Ah, got it.
Uh-oh. So yeah, John's on vacation. There he is. John? You back? Might be the camera. Feel so bad. Yeah, check out John Comics Kids. He usually does him and his daughters do comic reviews on Saturday mornings. So if you're like up in the crack of dawn, you know you can you can watch it. But he is Pacific time, just like Ash. So he also does stuff on Tuesday nights. So that's why he does watch our show. He doesn't time to really join on. So because holidays Thursday. So check his channel out. So my number one book is Batman Beyond the White Knight.
What? Who could have guessed? Who saw this
How
coming?
could you not guess this coming? I mean, seriously. How could you not guess it? You know, especially when I got the other cover.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Did you get all three?
Hold on. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, he's back.
So, number one of the week. Just loving this. You got
Great cover.
Two. Yep. And then this cover.
That's the one that I wanted. I really wanted that cover.
Like I said, I Death in the Family cover.
Yeah, that was cool.
Now
he did that.
I this book has been interesting. I'm not gonna spoil really anything on this. I'll just say one thing. Apparently, Jason Todd was the first Robin in this version.
Yeah,
I did not know that. So that because if you said that before, did not know that. I always thought that I should just assume because in normal comic books, Dick Grayson was the first, and then you had Jason Todd. So so Dick Grayson. I found out that Dick Grayson in this series is basically the second Robin. He was called in his name and with the circus. He was called Robin the Boy Wonder. Now I don't know unless that's changed at all. Because I don't know how was Dick Grayson. He was the Flying Graysons, and he wasn't known as Robin. So in this version they called him Robin, the Boy Wonder.
Yeah,
when he was with his parents when Bruce went to adopt him. Overall, just a very fun book. I love Sean Gordon Murphy's storytelling in here. The art is just great. Everything with Jack Napier, aka the Joker. They gave him a name. So technically, he already had
the Joker's had that name since 1988. I mean,
89. I think it
or
was
89, the Keaton movie. So
I know you get confused because like it's Superman 78 and then Batman 89.
Yeah,
let's get remember because like I get confused. It's like right. Yeah. It's just a fun overall book. I love Batman Beyond. At first, I was like, I really don't like this. What are you doing with my Batman Beyond? I love it, the original. Quit it. But at least Barbara didn't sleep with Bruce in this, so that's the silver lining.
It's a win.
I know.
Yeah, did you say yet?
Harley Quinn is actually done well in this too. If you didn't check out the Harley Quinn series, it was written by Katana Collins, his wife. She's the one she wrote that. It was a fun series. And like I said, it's just, and they even solved the problem with the Harley Quinn, saying that there's been two Harley Quinns. This Joker was just too crazy to notice. So if you didn't like the new Harley Quinn running around, that's because that was not the real Harley Quinn. It was just some bank accountant, that he took him with him. And yeah, so the original Harley still wears the Jester outfit. So. Which makes sense because, like, if you want to have that Harley with Ivy, go ahead. Give me the other Harley who's just with the Joker. Let's keep it. I just want more of the Murphyverse. I'm just gonna be sad when they finally decided to go away from the Murphyverse and just say no more Murphyverse and just I don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, he's an artist, but he's also a writer now. He worked with Constantine City of Demons.
Doesn't he have his own like little corner? Like DC, he's got his own Murphyverse like series of books.
He does.
I haven't heard anything recently, but I know he had talked with I think it was Blake Northcott. He had talked about doing a Catwoman in the Murphyverse with. I think.
Yes. They're
still waiting for that. But
there's still supposed to be a Poison Ivy one too.
Poison Ivy, yep. So
I said I mean, right now it's crazy because for those who are just tuning in, and Zach doesn't really he's not a Batman reader. So him reading, he's reading Superman.
DC made me a Batman and a Superman reader this year. I had not read Batman and Superman before 2022. Freaking DC, man. They pulled some voodoo magic.
Zdarsky and Ram V got him into reading Batman. And
then Williamson and Kennedy Johnson are getting me into Superman.
So I keep telling them, go read some Jerry Ordway stuff. Go read the post-crisis DC. When it was all connected, when you actually had a writing team and actually had a writer's room where they said, we're going to do this. Okay, I'll do this part, and then we'll just keep rotating chairs, And now looking back at that, I would have been annoyed. I got to buy this title, buy this title. It's like, just give me like 3 titles a month. or 3 issues of the same thing. Because I'm the person. Wait, so now I have, because this story is a crossover event. Now I can't put the Batman with the Batman. I got to put it with the next book in order. So I know. So
it's frustrating. There's 2 sides to it. Because I know the X-Men Krakoa era frustrates people when they feel like they got to read all the books to keep up with it. But at the same time, there's a joy in a connected universe where you feel like little things matter across books.
Yeah, we're loving X-Men. We're talking about X-Men 92, I think it was, that came out. And it was basically like the better version of everything that's going in the X-Men. Because they summarized it. X-Men Sword was only 1 issue.
Let's wrap that up.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we're talking about Marvel and DC. Marvel especially does so many events. DC, we just had Future State, and now we're gonna have Lazarus Project. Now I'll take it with great salt because it is Mark Waid. I've been really enjoying Batman as World's Finest. That's been my big thing, talking with that Batman versus Robin. I like Mark Waid when he was on Flash, so it just feels great. Versus to Megan Fitzmartin, who just doesn't like the Young Justice characters. If you looked at any of that, John?
No, I haven't.
So Young Justice, she just butchers the characters. If you love Young Justice, just avoid Megan Fitzmartin. It's like Trini Howard. It's this character. It's a writer who doesn't either has never read or did research and just wants to recon everything, or basically just ignore it past. So so I don't want to go into a rant.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the tricky balance. I think sometimes writers come in and they're maybe too close to the material, and so they don't take any real risks with it, or those writers who take so many risks that they're so far from the source material they're not connected to it in any way.
Well, then there's the ones who just don't care and just want a virtue signal.
When you have a character like Batman who's been around for so long, people want to come in and shake it up and do something different and really take it. And sometimes that really is not a good call.
Everybody wants to be the Claremont or the John Byrne comes in, or the Frank Miller comes in and just leaves their mark. The problem is they leave their mark in the wrong way. Remember that story where they ruined Batman?
I mean, I'm enjoying the current Nightwing, but like I know the run right before that was like one of the ones that pissed so many people off. They don't want Rick Grayson. No Rick Grayson.
Right, when he got shot in the head. Yeah, I remember Rick Grayson. I'm old enough to remember that.
Yes.
I don't want to, but I do.
Speaking, and the other problem is right now with the current one is like I don't want them marrying. I don't want Barbara and Dick being married.
Nightwing should only be with Starfire.
He shouldn't be, and that's another ignoring past. Because remember, he was going to marry Starfire, and then Barbara seduced him.
He was going to marry Starfire, and then Raven got possessed for the 12th time and ruined the wedding.
She might.
There was literally, it was like Titans 100 was literally a wedding issue, and Raven came along and was like possessed by Trigon. It was like, nope.
It was like I think it was a New Titans. I think if I remember that was what it was.
It was Titans or New Titans. It was one of those.
Yeah, New Titans she's paralytic, Barbara Gordon in the wheelchair, and I'm thinking like, can you just leave the handicapped woman alone? I understand we all need love, but like, you got a woman who barely wears any clothes and is drawn like a goddess. But he went for the damaged goods. All right, we'll roll off of this subject. All right, so who wants to go next?
Let John go ahead. John's the guest here. Let John go.
All right. I'll go here.
So we're going in reverse order, right? Our most disappointed book first.
Yeah, if you want to, or if you want to go from like most excited, and we can just go with your like, oh, this is your most hated book of the week.
No, I definitely was disappointed by this book, and I had some excitement and hope for John Stewart getting his own book this week. So this is issue 1 of John Stewart, The Emerald Knight. This was very frustrating for me.
iPad.
So I like Green Lantern characters. I think John Stewart's probably my favorite Green Lantern. I really do think he is just a really cool character. This is just not it. This is just not it.
I remember that.
I've been reading most of what they've been doing up recently, and there's some cool stuff going on with the Lanterns not having access to their rings anymore, not having the power to recharge anymore. So there's very few of these superpowered cops running around the universe doing their jobs. So bad guys are taking advantage. John Stewart has found a new power source that he's running with, and he's trying to like lead a rebellion among the remaining Lanterns that have any abilities. This was just a very convoluted story. They always throw mediocre artists on these comics too, which really kind of frustrates me. So this was someone named Santucci. I don't know.
It was like Pixar. It looked like Pixar almost characters.
Yeah, I'm just not loving it. So I do like the concepts of some of these characters and where they're going with some of them. I just think sometimes they try to cram too much into Green Lantern books, too many characters, too many. And if they just zeroed in on John a little bit more and made it about him, I think it could have been a far more interesting book where it was more focused and you really get a sense of who he is and why he's an interesting character. Because this is an issue 1. This should have been a jumping on point kind of thing.
I thought it was a one shot.
I think it is a one shot, yeah. I think it's leading into like this storyline they want to do with John.
Yeah, and he has the way he's drawn. He's like, and he's got the tank top on, and then he's got the sword.
Yeah,
and then he's got like, it's like, what's down here? Is like his flannel shirt tucked down there? What's going on? No, it's like, is he a jumpsuit?
He's got kind of like the leggings and the. It's very medieval times kind of thing.
Or has he got a fireman's costume on? He's got the suspenders going.
He literally, in Scott Snyder's Justice League, he literally became an ultraviolet lantern. Like he didn't need a Green Lantern ring anymore.
He's basically on like a god level, and that's a lot of the story in this issue is him dealing with parallax and so there's like deity like powers as the power structures and cosmic levels have been shifting. So, yeah, I don't know.
Also, I like your shirt. I think you've had it for a while now.
Yes, I have it. I like green, so get a good green shirt. I'm down for that.
What's the bottom part say? It says
approved by the Casualty Comics Authority.
Okay. I do something else differently for my stuff when we do stuff here. I don't have the shirt, but I have this. Over right corner.
What am I looking at? Oh, there, yeah.
This is not approved.
Cover up a guest that you don't like. Just put it up there when I'm up there and just cover me.
Wait, like this?
There you go.
That's Mike Wazowski.
There you go. I finally got around to reading this from last week. I was not impressed by Mark Millar's Nightclub book. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's $1.99. That means it's probably really good. He's just giving it away, and then he knows people will come out." It's $1.99 because it's not any good. It's like a vampire book, but it's also like I'm going to teach you how to be a vampire, and it's just stupid. Like I thought it was just.
I only have one word to describe that: parkour. Oh God!
Let me ask you a question, John.
Yeah.
Because I kind of the same take that you did on that. I thought I was expecting it to be a lot better. I thought it was if the book had been the kid becomes a vampire and he has to learn how to do all this stuff on his own, I think you would have had something there. But
I think so.
But the guy that sired him is going to teach him how to be a part of the secret cabal, blah blah blah, and of course he's going to turn on him at some point, but. It just seemed like it went to cliche town almost immediately.
Yeah, and I do think that is the worst character in the story in this one issue is that mentor character is just
it's
awful.
Because now the possibilities of this kid not knowing what to do because Venkman and I get this book called Vampirus Carmilla. And there was a story in that about this hot girl that becomes a vampire. And there's this older vampire that's like showing her the ropes. But she's too busy being into herself to listen. And at the end, she decides to take a hot shower. And in, of course, running water, she, disintegrates the shower. Yes. But, So I know it's kind of running contradictive to what I was saying, but if he just like been this, I don't know what to do, and I got to do on the fly, or like maybe he goes to the library and checks out books to try to learn that way, and realizing this is all BS type of stuff. But yeah, I said, I mean, I'll give it another issue or two because it is $2, but yeah, it kind of left me flat too.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no,
the book
I
it's on
killed
is-
him.
Uh-oh. He's been having a problem with his he said he's on vacation, so he's going off the Wi-Fi there. So we'll see what happens next. He gets kicked. There he is. There he is.
There he
He's
is.
back.
Get back. Sorry.
Oh,
Yikes.
this
It's like every
shoddy-
half an hour
yeah.
you get an interruption every half an hour,
Keeps things. That's our commercial break.
right? Yeah, you should run your commercials. There you go.
It's because I showed the Vampires Carmilla thing. So
Yeah,
Which is
the
ba-
internet
it's
shut
based-
you down.
yeah. And have you ever heard of these at all? Vampires Carmilla? It's basically like
No.
the Warren magazine reprints. Not reprints, but basically it's Warren. What's it called? Back here says
It's Warrant Magazine. It's basically
the same thing.
it,
The T.
almost like a monthly tributes to the old Creepies, Eries, and Vampirellas.
yeah.
There are actually, if you've heard of a guy named Don Glut, he was writing story. He has a story in Vampirella #1 in 1968. He has a story in one of those 2 issues this month, so he's still going.
I'll real quickly show you what it is. The entire. So that's what it looks like. That's all black and white stuff. So
Oh man, a lot of great detail on that one on the left.
yeah, this is so far all the books it had so far, and it's for only $6.99.
I
Magazine
mean, I'd
size.
rather pay for that than the nightclub book, $1.99.
Oh no, definitely check them out, and then check out if you like old history stuff. As far as behind, there's Back Issue magazine. That's the other one, and then that's through Tomorrowland. I think it is
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow. And then what's the other one? They have
Alter Ego.
Alter Ego. Alter Ego is the back issue. Kind of like I think Alter Ego is the Golden Age.
Well, they're actually creeping into the Silver Age now because they're about 100 and almost 200 issues in. But yeah, I said if we're telling you stuff you already know, our apologies. But Tomorrow's does the best history of comics material in the industry today. They do a lot of companion books. Like I just picked up a book called the Team Up Companion, and it tells the stories of Marvel Team Up 2 and 1, Brave and the Bold, DC Comics Presents.
Nice.
And they just published the Charlton Companion, which I'm a huge fan of Charlton Comics. But I didn't know that the two guys formed the company in prison. They were both in there for white collar crimes, and they said when we get out, one of them got illegal music song sheets, which was apparently a big racket in the early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, sheet music. So they decided once they got out, they would start a publishing empire. And one of the guys' names was Giovanni Santangelo. And I was surprised to find out that he was mobbed up. Who'd have guessed with a name like that?
It's shocking.
I know. But they're really, they do a lot of really good stuff. And Roy Thomas is basically the guy behind Alter Ego. And he has a Michael Urey, I think, is the guy that does, puts Back Issue together. If that name sounds familiar, he's a huge Batman guy from way back, and I think he actually wrote a book, a Batman book about is either the history of the movies or the character. I can't remember, but it's really good information.
Nice.
I think I saw Graphic Man here earlier. I think when to stop by. Graphic Man is basically a friend of the channel. It's called Graphic, and then Spaceman. It's just him and Eric Breen, and on Graphic channel every Wednesday. It's called The Fossils. Just older guys with
4-color fossils.
Well, 4-color.
Get
fossils.
it right.
Sorry, you're just fossils. There's no colors at all anymore. It's gone.
See, I'm old.
So what they do on every Wednesday night. So if you have time to check out Replay, is really cool. They show all these old school comic books. Brian's pulling out stuff. I'm thinking like Brian's like, oh, I got this old, and then like another guy will pull out something else. It's just like the point where I'm just thinking like, dude, these guys are like living the dream. I'm thinking like, all right, so how do I get into their will? It's like, you need a warehouse for how much they each have. Brian has 2 rooms.
That's the only way we're going to afford some of those books.
Right? Inheriting,
Yeah, we had a guy a couple weeks ago show the first 14 issues of Amazing Fantasy. He has 15, but it didn't fit with the other 14, so we just showed that at a different time.
Wow.
I mean, it's just some of this. I mean, he's got this guy probably has 1,000 Golden Age books. And we had a guy on with us, and this guy is a comic collector geek who may have the best comic book collection on planet Earth. It's unbelievable what this guy has, and he has his he records in a room full of slabs, and just in one row you see Amazing Spider-Man 1, AF-15, Fantastic Four 1. It's ridiculous what this guy has.
Yikes.
Yeah. So
wow.
So definitely looking for comic book history and stuff in there. Check out that channel called Graphic Man. It's on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Or actually, no, is it 7 p.m. Eastern?
No, it's 8 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So
yeah, that would be 7 p.m. your time. There you
go. Yeah, and then 5 o'clock your time. Or 6, depending where you are.
Right.
That's what I say. But sorry for interrupting you. With your stuff. But just I know you like all that other the history book comic books. So
yeah, for sure.
Your LCS should have them. Just look where they have the magazines.
Right.
Mine are on the floor beneath all the good new books. They just throw them on the floor. There's a stack.
My LCS does good. They put them by publisher, so they would all be like set. Each publisher gets their own section.
Well, that's one shop. That the big box store doesn't do that. They're all in one spot here. Everybody has to fight because all right.
So the only other indie I've been reading on my pull list regularly is Dark Ride by Joshua Williamson. So this came out last week. This is issue 3. Definitely like taking shots at the Mouse House with some of this stuff. If you haven't been reading it, it's centered around a devil themed theme park, and the father who started the theme park is Le Recluse, and he's got some dark secrets. The theme park is obviously more than meets the eye. His 2 children that are running it both have no idea what's really going on, and are just trying to make a buck out of it. And we have these new employees who are disappearing, and conspiracy theorists who are making their YouTube videos about the theme park and what's going on. I just think it's quirky and kind of fun. So This is issue 3.
I've been meaning to check that one out because I do like Joshua Williamson's writing a lot.
Yeah, you were mentioning that recently that you have been reading a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, and then if it takes shots at Mickey Mouse and Disney, that's like
there's some amazing like retro homage Disney poster variant covers that are really cool. They do some really cool cover stuff, and even the font is like obviously like the Disney font. Like,
yeah, it's got like that old school like Disney fantasy. Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely,
that's cool.
For this week, I got the 2nd issue of Doctor Strange's Fall Sunrise. This is the Tradd Moore. So if you like just like bizarre, trippy, I loved his Silver Surfer Black that he did with Donny Cates. This has some of those same vibes. It's just buck wild. You can't really explain it without like showing off just kind of the bizarre nature of the art style of Tradd Moore. You either love it or hate it. I get it. Like the people that just can't stand what Tradd Moore does.
It's Silver Surfer Black artists. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. So it's psychedelic for sure.
I guess it makes sense for that, but I mean, like when I see Doctor Strange, is he like in cartoon or is it like multiverse That's why he looks
Let
that
me see
weird.
if I can get a good picture of him here. Well, that's a close up of his face there in blue. He's astral. A lot of this is him in astral projection form.
Okay.
So he's like traveling across dimensions.
Jeez, that's just mind-boggling right there. I'm getting into.
It kind of fits though with Doctor Strange.
It's
I
H.P.
mean,
Lovecraft.
yeah.
Yes, right. I think it'd be something that would be great in like a trade. I know they did those large format Silver Surfer Black volumes that were kind of cool way to read that series. But I've been digging this. It's a trippy ride, so you just got to buckle up, knowing like I can't be distracted while I'm reading this. You know,
What size iPad is that? Because that's what I'd get if I'm reading online.
It's my wife's iPad, actually. I don't even know.
It's as big as a Bible. It's a little bigger.
Yeah.
The wide ones are really cool for reading, because I have on my phone. I have one of those phones that folds out, and so if I'm reading on like Comixology, like it helps out a lot. I love it for digital reading.
Oh, and Comixology brought back the frame by frame.
Yeah,
did they?
On I believe on desktop. I'm not sure. If it was,
okay.
On the desktop, okay.
I think it's also on the. Oh, Ash is the one he gets Ash Comics. He has Unlimited. Does Comixology Unlimited thing?
Yep.
So he gets all that stuff. And we were looking at it yesterday. And I think he is going through the PC, and I think it's for the desktop, because the desktop they got rid of it. That was a big thing for people who are like me. If I want to read like panel by panel, we do readings on here. So like we use the Marvel and the DC app because it does that frame by frame.
And I screen grab with the Marvel app for the X-Men show. It's just easier to zoom in on stuff if you want to see real close up a certain frame.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's like, my eyesight's not bad, but I mean, like sometimes when it's a weird font, especially like if it's italic font or that's I want to zoom in, and sometimes I look at the detail. So and what's really cool about the old Kirby stuff, you see the stuff you're not supposed to see, like the faces in the background.
Right.
So it's
well,
like,
I think when people are watching YouTube on their phones and their iPads, like if you can make it a little bigger for them to see stuff, it makes a difference.
I have iPhone 8, so I don't have the giant server and stuff, but I've seen people have like those 13s are now like bigger and bigger now.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm not ready for that. I finished Nice House on the Lake. That came out this week. I don't know if anybody's a big fan of that. Jason's Tiny Onion. I loved the first arc. I thought the second arc got really trippy. I thought this issue is my favorite in the second arc. It's actually a pretty solid final issue to the main story, but it does seem like they're setting up that this is he can come back and do it as a mini series and tell another story later on. This is basically the first arc or the first main plot storyline, so there is some finality right to this, but I don't think it finished as strong as it started for me. I know that a lot of people really loved it, but for me it petered out a little bit.
Poor Peter.
Right. Poor guy.
I hope that wasn't the protagonist's name.
It's not, no, thankfully.
Oh.
But yeah, so if you haven't been reading that one, I think you should try it in trade. It might be a better read there. The best thing that I've been reading, I'll say best, but I finally got, after a lot of prodding, and this fits with what you guys were saying a little bit ago about catching up on stuff, is I've been catching up on Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics.
Nice.
So I've read the first 12 issues of his run just the last day or a day and a half.
Within an hour.
Yeah.
The digital format, you just swipe. So.
While Venkman was going through his list, I just basically read those 12 issues.
You had an hour, so.
Right, it was good. It was good use of time. But I thought it was really effective. I now really want to seek out the Tedesco variants because there are so many amazing variant covers for this run. And it gives me a lot of good Planet Hulk vibes, which is a great Hulk storyline that I think clearly has some connection here as far as being gladiatorial and trying to survive on another planet. And so I really dug those issues. I don't know.
That is really, like I said, I want to see more of that iPad. I like that. Is just a nice size to read comic books on. Because if I try to read anything through like Comixology on my phone, it's just like, all right, what am I looking at here?
Right. Do you do panel by panel where it zooms in a little?
I guess I can't do that on the phone.
One is not as good as it used to be. But
well, I guess it's back. It says panel by panel is back on Comixology. Says Ash, so it is on the because I would use Comixology on my PC. That's how I'd read stuff, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my only problem is that sometimes those websites they lag and you get the circle and then you like it that was the thing with Comixology. It always like, all right, crash. Now I gotta go back to the middle again where I was.
Yep. And the last thing that I've been reading and catching up on is Terry Moore's Stranger in Paradise, which I've never read, and I had a good friend who absolutely loves it. It's his favorite thing, and my LCS had a bunch of the pocket books for sale, which I guess are out of print.
Nice. Very cool.
And so they're slightly smaller. They're basically like novel size. But you get a ton of story in each one, and there's 6 of them. So I just finished volume 5, and I got volume 6 by the bed.
Is it color or is it black and white?
It's a black and white, yeah. But with
okay, that's cool.
With Terry Moore, you tend to get a lot of like prose. So you get like sections where it's all of a sudden in prose. I don't know if you guys are super familiar with this story.
Yep. Vegman, there is no color in Terry Moore books.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Are you reading Parker Girls by chance, John?
I have not, because I've never finished this. So this was my first Terry Moore anything.
I didn't either, but I understand that there are. What I didn't realize until this was each one of his series that he's done post Strangers in Paradise are connected. There's some characters, like a character or two that have connections in this one.
Yeah.
I think Kachu and her sister are in this Parker Girls.
So yeah, the Parker Girls are like this crew of like assassin hookers, basically, that like are like in the background of the Strangers in Paradise story. So the spin-off of the current run that he's doing is just called Parker Girls.
Yeah.
But centers on a couple of the characters from Strangers in Paradise having their own kind of storyline. And like Gore is saying, I've heard people really are enjoying it.
It's kind of what Fred Van Lente did with the Jennifer Blood. He brought in the Ninjets from the original run, which I was like, well, it must be before they were slaughtered.
Yeah, but no disrespect to Fred Van Lente. This is better.
I think it's hard to know what you're in for when you read something like Strangers in Paradise, because I thought it was going to be a romantic comedy kind of a book, but it's got a lot more going on. There's crime, espionage, thriller kind of stuff. It's really violent in some sequences. It's super abstract and kind of meta in other portions, where it's like self-referential in some ways. So it's hard to define what it is, because it's always redefining itself in some ways.
Yeah, I wished I'd been on Strangers in Paradise from the beginning, because I know I missed a hell of a book, and
Well, this has been a fun way to read it. Just
grabbing
grabbing a couple of these, and then every once in a while just sit and try to power through one volume all by itself. So it's been a fun little treat to kind of go through these.
I'm just thinking if they do Parker Girls, it's basically what that what was that Anne Hathaway movie this recently did, or they did that
Ocean's 8?
No, Ocean's 8. No, it was the other one. No, she did the other one where it's the Hustle movie.
Oh, the one with Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah. Thinking I hope that's not Parker Girls, like a kind of a bad ripoff.
I don't think it's going to be anything like that.
I don't think so. I've seen a few. They have a new part. I think I have a new issue that actually comes out next week, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be number 4.
Yeah.
Did Strangers in Paradise ever have a TV series?
No.
No, but there was a song called Strangers in the Night.
I am actually a little surprised that none of his stuff has been optioned.
Yeah.
Because that would make some of his stuff. I mean, I'm blanking on the names of the other series he's done. Rachel Rising.
I'm sure Gore could list all of them. I know he did one. I think it's called Rachel Rising.
Yeah, that's what I just remembered. And I said, I mean, I think that one of those had supernatural elements. So I mean, he does a little bit of everything. I said he's he's carved out a nice little world for himself.
Sure.
I've been telling these guys I love these oversized deluxe edition hardcovers. So it's like everything's bigger. So as far as the font and everything, versus like that. It basically like I wish more comic books got that way because Deadly Class. I've been reading Deadly Class like that. Deadly Class is the oversized.
Yeah,
thing, and I just
Image has been doing that a bunch with theirs. Yeah,
I want Invincible in the deluxe oversized. You know,
the Invincible I've got is like so. I was telling Gore that I picked this giant Stray Bullets beast up at my shop the other day because they had it for 50% off. But this is how I have the Invincible compendiums that are like this, just soft cover, but like just giant beasts.
Now you should go pick up Starman Volume 2 compendium. Came out in the 90s. James Robinson,
man.
It was.
Is it like this?
Yeah, there's two of them. So you get one each area.
Exercise, right?
Give them to the girls. It's like a 10-pound weight. They can just.
So Gore, don't worry. I'm going to be diving into this very soon.
All right.
I've only got about another 10 minutes, I think, because the kids are going to be coming to bed here soon.
All right. So are you done with your books then? Are you?
Yeah, hold on.
That's it. All right, cool. All right, we'll throw Zach up on the big giant screen. Cover your eyes, everybody.
All right.
Can I place my order? I'd like 2 scoops of vanilla with sprinkles.
I've got a plate of hot death you can have, Breen.
Well, that's not what I ordered, Soda Jerk.
I'm not the manager. I don't know what you want me to do.
Hey, what's up to Skip and Tosh?
Skip, what's up, twin?
Oh, that's why he's the ice cream man, and that's like he's doing it for Skip. Zach,
oh my gosh, I do look like an ice cream man. Oh my goodness.
You look just like
one of those little paper hats on the side. Oh my gosh.
Lickety split, just like that.
Halloween right around the corner.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny that he was wearing white tonight.
This isn't white. This is gray.
Am I colorblind?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, then maybe you should try a different detergent.
This is a new shirt.
Get your whites whiter.
This is a brand new shirt, fresh off the shelf or the rack.
I said we do know Zach jokes tonight as far as making fun of Zach, but I just I've been waiting an hour and 45 minutes, so I just wanted to make a nice joke about his white shirt.
Thank you.
Now that his other twin is here, we can't be taking forever because we got a stream that starts in an hour.
That's true. I got an hour to get through me, and I can't be like Vinkman and take an hour 20 on my books.
you know though.
I can't spoil all the plots.
Well, just take out the 3 books we have crossover with. You'll be fine.
All right. I got 11 books in the trade this week, y'all. So bear with me. Don't worry. A bunch of them are books that Vinkman did not have. Starting off, though, bottom of the pile we got. This is Blue Beetle Graduation Day. This is number 2. There was some cool stuff in here. I do like they did bring in Ted Cord. And I do like the fact that this writer, the first name I forgot, but his last name's Trujillo. I like how he remembered there's actually 3 Blue Beetles. There's the one that came before Ted, and then there's Jaime. So I like how he referenced that. The art is losing me a little bit. In some places, the art is really cool, and in other places, his facial expressions are really off. So, but overall, the story's been pretty cool. It's teenager with powers, kind of Spider-Man, erratic-esque. So, decent story. Like I said, the artwork is just hit or miss in some places. So,
Dan Garrett.
All right. Next up, I can finally scratch a mini-series off my pull list. DC Mech. This is the final issue. Kind of a lackluster ending. I was kind of disappointed with the ending. I've actually been liking this. The Justice League all have giant mech robots, and the ending just didn't really stick for me. The art kind of felt like it was rushed through, like it didn't go through and ink it properly or color it fully in some spots. It is all right, and then the ending, they make it seem like they have more like a sequel series on the way, like the Legion of Doom might get their own mech suits.
So when DC gets the rights to Godzilla, we have DC Mech versus Godzilla.
Dude, I would buy that if they got a more experienced artist. I like this artist that they have. He did good, but like I said, with the inking in this issue, it just felt, I don't know, it just felt like it was rushed.
So, Tom McFarlane, when are we getting these toys?
Right, for real.
For $150,
this is basically a toy magazine. Yeah,
$1,500. You get the Unicron Doomsday. or not Doomsday, but Darkseid.
Dude, Darkseid. So all of Apocalypse transforms into this giant mech Darkseid. It's actually pretty cool. That's probably the coolest scene in the book. Giant mech Darkseid. Coming in next, my LCS only had the plain cover. So we have She-Hulk number 9. It was better than the last issue, number 8, which took a whole issue to give like the villain origin story. This one, it was all right. It had some fun moments. Jen breaking the fourth wall. That was okay. Nice little nostalgia throwback. The ending, I'm kind of curious, like where they plan to go with that ending. But overall, not bad, but not one of the better issues either. It is at the bottom of the stack, after all. Next up, I got the war propaganda cover for Army of the Dead, Sergeant Rock versus Army of the Dead.
I didn't think you were still reading this. You said you didn't like it as much.
It's fun, but no, I'm still picking. No, I dropped DC versus Vampires is what I dropped.
Oh, okay.
This one, I mean, the storytelling is really simple. This one I still like. I mean, it's good storytelling. I do agree. You wouldn't really know it was Bruce Campbell writing if you didn't read his name on the front of the book,
which is a good thing.
But the art, I like the art style a lot. Kind of reminds me of like a little bit of, it's like if Mike Mignola and maybe Frank Miller kind of had a baby in some weird way. That's kind of the art.
Encourage ideas like this. You made the baby.
It's good storytelling, good World War II Army storytelling with Nazi zombies. I mean, it's fun. Breen will be actually did this? No, it didn't. Didn't make it into my top 5 this week, but I did get Exterminators number 4. Not my favorite issue of the series. It did take a little bit of a dip. I think the last issue, number 3, was the most fun I've had. But this still does have some fun moments. I am still really enjoying this. I wish that this was an ongoing.
My favorite part is put the hat back on her.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. Like they get arrested and Jubilee's like, put her hat back on. That was pretty fun.
Because what's her name? Laura Kinney has they were forced to wear by this guy wearing costumes, Because
that's why. It fills that gap. I was wondering why they were all wearing these weird costumes in front of the council. I'm like, why are they dressed like cheerleaders and clowns and stuff? It's because the Collector had like this whole wardrobe. He has like a harem in space.
I love Dowser's like, we've been here for a week and you still wearing that costume. You smell like your dad, gross. And Laura's like, fine. Then she's like, go put a clothes on. I'll put his costume on. She chooses the one with the witch. Yeah. So at the end, they're like, because the hat fell off and they're transported back to Krakoa. And like, Jubilee's like, put the hat back on her. She's like,
all right. Moving on, we got little Action Comics here. Actually, I'll turn it on the side. Action Comics 1050. Pretty good story in here. We actually, Venkman, you would like this actually. Superman has his secret identity again.
Oh, nice.
Lex Luthor actually made his identity secret. I won't go into how. But except for like the Justice League and like Lois and a handful of other people, most of the world does not know Clark is Superman.
Lex Luthor just brainwashed everybody.
I mean, yeah, but there's a little bit more to it. I was actually kind of surprised how they did it. I was like, who had that idea? It's kind of a ballsy idea because there's a death in here.
I mean, the perfect way to
there's almost 2 deaths.
The perfect way to all you have to do is have the Martian Manhunter basically transform into Clark Kent standing next to Superman. There you go.
Literally. No, they didn't do that.
Right?
They did. So this does kind of serve as a tie-in because like the ending of this will tie into Williamson's Superman number 1 that comes out next month. Kennedy Johnson has his Action Comics story, of course, continuing. And then they do have a little bit that ties into the new Tom Taylor miniseries that's coming out. There's a little bit that ties into that. So overall, good book. A lot of stuff with Lex Luthor, some stuff with Metallo happening in here. I like this. And like I said, Superman, his identity is a secret again.
That's so a very cover.
Wanted that? Here you go.
I know it's a very cover, but does Lex have his power suit?
Yes.
Without the freaking So it's like
a little in the interior. It's bigger than this, but yes, he does wear his power suit.
It's a TARDIS.
No,
it's bigger on the inside.
No, it's like it's just like a bigger, bulkier suit.
My thing is I don't want having the Superman logo and the cape, and I don't care for that. I don't want Super Lex.
No. They don't have that. They don't have that.
Okay.
All right, top 5 books. I'm realizing some of them are out of order. All right, we got Detective Comics with Mr. Freeze. I really enjoyed the first half of this book. With the stuff with Mr. Freeze was really cool, I thought. The second half of the story. Too, actually, I did like the second half of the story with the Orgums and like how they're causing chaos in Arkham and their plan. I did kind of like some of the exposition there, but the stuff with Mr. Freeze I thought was especially cool. Pun intended, by the way. But I've been liking it. If you don't like we were saying earlier, there's the Zdarsky's Batman is very action oriented, and this one's a little bit more of a slow burn, methodical. So if you like that, definitely check out Detective. Great art also, by the way. I mean, really good art in here. All right. One that Venkman did not bring up from Marvel, and I've been liking this one. All Out Avengers.
Greg Land tracing.
Greg Land. Actually, Greg Land's art is pretty stellar in this. I don't know if it's a different inker than he normally has, but I've been liking his art on the interiors in this.
I flipped through it at my shop, and I gotta say it's a lot of cheesecake in that book.
There's a lot of cheesecake. Also, the Ed McGuinness cover is pretty baller too.
It's like the Cheese Out Avengers.
Yeah, Hawkeye is especially funny in here. So like the story, the cool thing about this is you're not getting the story from the beginning. It jumps into like the middle of the story, and so you're kind of like, well, how did they get here? You kind of just your brain has to imagine something. It just jumps in the middle of the story.
2 days earlier.
In this one, these 4 Avengers, they've been on this alien planet for weeks, and Hawkeye's costume has taken so much damage. By the time they finally get off planet, he's pretty much in a loincloth because he's just been exposed to the elements and been injured in battle. So he's like wearing a loincloth with his bow and arrow, pretty much.
And there's beefcake in this too? Wow.
There's beefcake and cheesecake in this. Wow. It's an equal opportunity pleaser. But yeah, been a really fun book. This is issue number 4. I've been enjoying it. It's just a good, fun, one-shot story. There is an underlying plot line, but it's you can pretty much get a whole story in one issue, which I really like.
I mean, that's crazy. You can get a slice of cheese with your beef.
Yeah, there you go. Or a slice of beef with your cheese. All right, number 3 is Batman Beyond the White Knight. I don't know what I can say about this more than our resident Batman Beyond fan hasn't already. I mean, this has been my favorite issue so far. I will say that. The stuff that goes on with all the different Robins showing up in this. Ace the Bat Hound, my boy Ace the Bat Hound in this. I know I'm a dog person, so when I saw this particular panel, I was like, yes, my boy. Really, really great. There's one more issue to go. And I'm going to be kind of sad when it ends because this has been a really fun, really well-drawn, well-crafted story from Sean Murphy. Just fantastic. All right. Number 2. There's 2 books I like that more than this, though, which is the weird part. Number 2 was Moon Knight. Which issue? 18. Gosh, it's been 18 issues already. This was a really great issue as well. Moon Knight, he's a badass in this. He does like this cool little monologue, and you're trying to figure out like what his plan is. And then when his plan actually happens, you're like, that is I thought it was the coolest thing. So really cool how he and Tigra, take on this vampire conclave. The ending also was really exciting. Nice little cliffhanger ending. So Jed MacKay, I said he's probably one of my favorite writers over at Marvel right now. And, this is the main reason why. So definitely check out his Moon Knight if you haven't already.
I just realized my top 5 is pretty much the same books. They're just different orders.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, no, you don't have my number 1. And I didn't have my number 1. This book I did not know was out. I just saw it on the table on the shelf. And I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. And then I saw who was writing it. And I was like, oh, let me pick this up. And I enjoyed this just a hair more than Moon Knight. but that is Timeless #1.
Oh.
This is Jed MacKay writing. So, like I said, I had to pick it up and give it a shot. Of course, Marvel's going to make Kang a big deal because he's got his Marvel movie debut about to come out. But this was really good. Like, I don't remember the last time I really cared about Kang as a villain. It's been a minute. This one made me like, okay, Kang is actually really cool. So in this story, he's searching for something. It's called like the unknown minute or something like that. There's like a second in time or a moment in time that he hasn't seen. And so he's looking for that. He's like laying waste to libraries and schools and stuff in outer space. And so what we get is there's like a space version of Merlin who has like his own space Marvel future King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table pretty much. And they're like,
Camelot 3000?
Kinda. And they're like, Kang, look, whatever you do, you got to stop. You can't do this. We're going to stand you. And Kang just pretty much hands all of them their asses. Like, and Kang, you find out how big of a badass Kang actually is when it comes to fighting these other superpowered, warriors one-on-one. So really, really cool story. It's pretty much a one-shot. I also like at the end, so we find out that the events that transpire here are going to carry on into, it says like to be continued in Avengers in 2023, which kind of makes me wonder if Jed MacKay is going to be taking over the Avengers title after Jason Aaron leaves, because we know he is leaving Avengers in April.
I was hoping to be Dan Slott.
Well, if it's MacKay, I'm definitely going to be picking it up if it's Jed MacKay. Dan Slott, I'm a little more wary.
What if Cates comes back and has Avengers?
If Cates comes back, oh, dude, I'll definitely jump on it.
Any world builds.
Absolutely. I would absolutely do
Ties
that.
in with, everything with going to Thor, all that stuff. That'd be great.
But, yeah, no, definitely. If you haven't had a chance, Timeless #1 was not on my radar at all. Just saw it at the shop, and I was like, let me give it a shot. Okay, sure.
So it lives up to that name. So 20 years from now, it'll be like, it's still timeless.
Maybe. I mean, it's not like, Days of Future Past or Kraven's Last Hunt, but I haven't had a chance to read this yet, but it was on sale. I picked up The Witcher Omnibus. This is from Dark Horse. This is volume 1. Nice little, it looks like a Mike Mignola cover.
It does look like Hellboy kind of.
But I've been getting into The Witcher. I got a few of the books over Christmas that I'm going to dig into, and so I picked this up as well. So I'm excited to pick this up.
You should play the games too.
I have the third one. It's burning up
the
space.
The third
on
one is probably the most replayable game I played in a while, and you can just play it for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's why I haven't started yet. I haven't had 3 weeks of time to sink into it.
And then it's like,
I'm gonna bow out, guys.
Yeah.
All right, John. Good meeting you, man.
Put the kids to bed.
All right.
Thanks for joining,
Nice
man.
meeting you, John.
Thanks for joining us, John.
Thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
Always. See you in 3 years. There you go. There's John's link in the chat. Check him out.
But yeah, that is my comic reading. I read through all 11 of those issues today. So reading's hard for me now. I'm just all lettered out. I just can't. Chat looks like a crossword jumble. So
yeah, John's an awesome guy. He is on the other side of the comic book spectrum as far as the YouTube channels. It's crazy because we live in a bubble. When I come in, and then I look, it's like, well, we're only in like the small corner of the giant comic book universe on YouTube. People that talk to each other. But I think Gore is pretty much the one that connects us to everybody. So, all right. That was it for you. Skip, do you want to go?
If Breen got some, Breen can go, and I can go after it.
Breen, did you do anything this week?
Okay, I'll go. All right, Skip, back to you.
All right, here we go.
I thought you were going to say I'm leaving, guys. See you later.
I am jumping off in a minute. I haven't eaten yet, and I've been blowing my nose nonstop for 2 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, my brother came up and he was sick as it was because he's playing hooky.
I'm not sick per se, but I just can't stop my nose from it. Just how does one body produce that much snot?
Look, how does a baby produce that much snot?
I don't
Vomit.
know. By the way, Skip, while you're here, I see our boys are stumbling a little.
Yeah, and you probably also saw last night that our injured all-star center came back with a broken hand and beat the previous year's MVP. So we're not stumped. We're not in free fall anymore. We're good. We just came back and beat the #1 team in the West on a back-to-back.
What's the record?
We're 18 and or 19 and 16, I believe. And we're in sixth place in the West.
I'm waiting it seems like they get to 4 over and can't take that next step. That's what I'm waiting for, is get to 5 over.
Yeah, that'll be fair. I mean, the good thing is like not many teams are there except for the teams above us anyway, but I think we just need another month. I think we'll get there in January.
Eric, what's the temperature by you?
It's 60.
Yeah, it's probably mold.
Which is what's that?
You probably are allergic to mold and stuff?
No, I don't think so, but I think that I'm sure that has something to do with it. I mean, it was just, brutally cold, and then it just kind of shot up in just a couple of days. And
yeah, when the temperature shifts that quickly, that'll mess with you.
It's usually when it goes in the other direction, when it goes up. It goes from cold to warm.
As you're finally thawing out. Is it so cold in your house? You might have got cold.
No, the house didn't get cold. I mean, it just got a little chilly, but if it's I keep it set on 70. It might have gone down to 69 or 68 when it was 8 below. I'll take that.
Yeah, it's 58 right now here by me, and it's just like insane. It's December 29th, and there's no snow.
And I looked at the 10-day.
Yes,
it's really doesn't. I mean, it doesn't stay this hot, but it looks like mid 40s for highs.
Yep.
So if I can get 10 more days of winter knocked off without any of this shit we just went through, I'll take it. Anyway, sorry, Skip, didn't mean to.
Yeah,
all good, Breen. You have a Merry Christmas. There you go.
I'm not leaving yet.
Yes. Good. Stick around for this.
That's how I look.
Right on. Yes, this is a picture of Breen that I sketched earlier. There you go. I painted.
Cigarette's on the wrong side though. Oh. It's on the left side.
Hey man. Well,
there you go.
I was gonna say a joke, but I'm not gonna say. Anyway, so I'm just starting off with this one. I didn't get to finish reading it yet. What I read so far is good. It's Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips doing a criminal Christmas story with Teague Lawless. I don't really need to say a whole lot more besides buy it.
Wait a minute, that's a new story?
Yep,
yeah, it's a Christmas story. It's a short that they did for this. That's why I'm showing you, because I had a feeling that you didn't get it because you haven't said anything about it.
That's because I thought it was just another one of those like image reprint things.
No, this is their little image book where they like do anthology stories, and some stories like go from issue to issue, but they get all of their creators to do at least like one short story, and most of the time it's in their most popular property. So
that's the guy from the actual criminal book, right?
Yes.
Character?
Yep.
Right,
Teague Lawless. You got it.
Now I'll be reading that.
Now, how long of a story is that in there?
Let me see. I think it was like 10 pages, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 page story.
Now, I'm not real familiar with the other people in that. Are the other stories decent?
I only ever buy it for whatever creator. Like I bought the Ice Cream Man one. I just read the Ice Cream Man one. I bought the very first one, and I read I think a Wes Craig story, but it's got Jeff Johns. A Jeff Johns story. I know you don't really like Jerry Duggan and Kieran Gillen, but they got stories in there. Scotty Young. 9
to 12. Everybody's on 9 to 12. They've been doing since the beginning.
Yeah, but I'll pay $6 to read 12 pages of Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
That's why I got it, because I thought it would be $10.
I did it for this one too, just to read the trailer for Night Fever by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It's the best stuff out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, yes, I bought the previews also, and it's got the trailer for Night Fever, which is coming out, I want to say in June, by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And what's cool about it is whenever they have new stories, they do this little thing that's like a trailer. So they don't just take like the first few pages of the story; they take elements of the story and like draw like images like it's a trailer, you know, trying to entice you to come in and buy the book. So it's really cool how they do it. Just because people have never seen it before, I'm just gonna.
And in the back of the book, look at the back cover. I was to say, if you show the very back cover, last page
of previews,
yeah, for the next issue, it shows you all the covers of all the books have been out so far. So you can
no. Are you talking about the pre? This is
no.
Not the image book.
I think you had the Brubaker book up. At the end of this image book here, at the very end, last page, it shows you like here. You can see all the cover of the titles coming out.
Nice.
So it shows there's 3 more.
Oh, 3 more of the image books coming? Right.
Yeah, there's only 12.
All right, so one of the image books got a criminal story in it. Previews got a Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips trailer in it. I did not read the 12th issue of Nice House on the Lake yet, but I agree with what John said. I was hoping to be able to talk to him, but I agree with what he said because I did read issue 11 last night, and yeah, it starts off really strong and it gets really weak. I've been rating this like a 3 stars every time, or maybe even like a 2.5 stars, and it's only because of the art, because Alvaro Martinez Bueno does incredible art in these books. If you've never seen any of it, of course I open up to like a white page. Yeah, because you did have some of those in there too. But I just really love his very pencily, sketchy looking style, even though it's even though he's obviously used sketching in digital. Some of like this stuff are down here where it comes to like the weird symbols and stuff that the people are looking at and have to walk through. It's just really, it's interesting because it feels like it comes across like paintings, but it's just pencils. So I just really like the style, and the coloring of the book is really good as well. But yeah, it's James Tynion. He can't land the plane, but he takes off. The plane takes off in an awesome fashion. I'm getting Spawn covers on some of the books. So we got 20th Century Men issue number 5. This has been easily one of the top 3 comics that I've read all year. I continue to tell people about it. I continue to talk about it. I will continue to tell you that Dennis Camp is a hot up-and-coming writer that you will hear more people talking about next year. But I'm just telling you now, he's the guy. He's coming up. Just like Rom V kind of popped up on y'all, Dennis Camp's going to do the same thing. Just telling you ahead of time. And then the art in this, Stephen Morian, he's like a painter who he's into comics, but he mostly paints. But he switches back and forth between like multiple different styles, like every issue. Like throughout the issue, he'll just change the style, and every time there's a style change, it has like a meaningful change for wherever they are within the book. But yeah, his art has been really incredible and awesome in there. I watched a live stream with him talking, and he's showing all these fine art pieces, and we're like, so why are you doing comics? Like, you do all this fine art. Why are you doing this? He's like, oh, I just love comics, and I grew up reading like the Hulk. I'm just like, thank you for doing comics. This is the best art. You're gonna win awards. Anyway, Sword of Azrael. Y'all heard me talk about this before. Love what Dan Watters is doing to this book. I will continue to say, I'm just going to be a broken record, and I don't care, because I am a meditation. I am meditate on what I'm saying and just taking it over and over again. We talk about how we don't like mischaracterizations, and I'm saying this as the person who's loving Exterminators. Yes, that book is also on this list. I'm just letting you know now. But we talk about how we like characterizations. We like the characters' lore to be respected in their history and everything, and then move them forward, but like not in a way that rocks the boat too much, but give us something new. Dan Watters is doing all of that with Azrael, and I'm afraid that the comic book buying community is ignorant to it. So I'm just trying to let everybody know, if you're down with Azrael, if you like him at all, and you like quality writing, go get Dan Watters' Sword of Azrael book. It's really, really good. It's like
my
way
friend
better than you
Risey,
can imagine.
my friend Risey just loves Azrael, and then when he had him in Justice League, was it Justice League Odyssey? You know, Azrael is a big main part in there too. And they had the Azrael cult. They all because they're worship because he was one of the new gods.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like him that. I didn't like him in No Man's Land, but I mean outside of that, like the newer stuff, I might pick that up because I kind of like him a little bit different now.
I'm not an Azrael fan, and I bought the book because Dan Waters is writing it.
Yeah.
Well, because he wrote Arkham City: The Order of the World, and what he did with all those characters in there, including Azrael, was awesome. And the way that he took off from that story, where Azrael was the antagonist, and has really defined the line between Jean-Paul Valley and Azrael. And I like the fact, so as someone who reads the Bible,
yeah,
like I appreciate the fact that like you get to see, because you know Azrael is supposed to be a warrior or vengeful angel of the Lord.
Knight or something like that.
Well, yeah, that's part of the lineage. Like he comes from that line, but he himself is supposed to be possessed by the angel of God's angel of vengeance.
Okay.
Who's not named the Spectre. Anyway, so he has to go see himself, and the dopest part about it is he doesn't just look like the angel that looks like a human, human anatomy, but with wings. It looks like the angels described in the book of Revelation. There's eyes all over him, and he's like this crazy form. And I just appreciated that Dan Waters and the artist cared enough about even the belief system and the religion that Azrael is tied to, that when they showed who he truly was to distinguish him from him and Jean-Paul Valley, they actually recorded what his belief system, his book, his foundation describes actual angels as. Just details like that on top of the great writing is incredible. So anyway, Sword of Azrael, check it out. Bloodsport Unleashed. Guess who wrote this? Dennis Camp. So I'm telling you about him again. I'm not a big Bloodshot fan, but guess what? I understand enough about the character. I read a little bit of the Jeff Lemire run. He gets in there, he respects the character, but he does take it in a different direction. And I really like how he approaches, modern day espionage, super soldier, just the meta of it. Because he does take it forward a little bit. And also, as someone who has read his Agent of World, I read Agent of World first. I expected to come into this and feel like that it's just a clone, which I personally would have been happy with because Angel of World is awesome. And it wasn't that. You feel a little bit of it. You feel Dennis Camp, but he does very much, he doesn't just insert himself, or his ideals immediately into the character. He very much respects Bloodshot's origin, but also gives it a really, he adds a little bit of Matt Kent to it, where it's mind game, mind tricks, espionage thing, but with a little more of an emotional tie to kind of ground a little bit more. Anyway, Dennis Camp, I can't say enough about him, and I gotta go soon. Pink Lemonade. How many of y'all are reading Pink Lemonade? Raise your hand. I
like Pink Lemonade. The taste. That's about it.
That's not good enough, RDV. The taste is not good enough.
I like that Minute Maid.
I need you to take a minute and make yourself read this. I need you to drink down a tall glass of Pink Lemonade comic book. It's like Silver Age, like Morality Tale, but modernized. So it's super innocent, but super satirical at the same time. Have y'all ever experienced where someone does a satire of something, but somehow it's making fun of the thing, but fully respecting it at the same time?
So it's like Bender, but not drinking.
I don't know what that is, but I want to say yes.
Bender, the robot?
I never really got into that show, but that's fine because I understand
Buy
people like
it.
I said nothing.
I saw that judging look.
I heard you judging me in your mind. Anyway, Pink Lemonade is super good. The art is really good. And if you want a little bit, if you grew up reading comics where it was, mostly very straightforward and simplified, innocent morality tales, this is a kid. This makes you feel like that, like they wrote it for a kid, but an adult totally wrote it for the kid inside of an adult. Hope you had your hat on. I just blew your mind. Next, we got Bad Idea, One Shot, Burning Man, Peter Milligan, Juan Jose Ripe, or Rip, however you want to say it. Didn't read it yet, don't know what it's like, but I know I really like Juan Jose, and I know I really like Peter Milligan. Every Peter Milligan comic that I've read, almost period, I've liked, with the exception of like 2 that I can think of. And I've liked all the stuff that he did at Bad Idea, like Pirate Queen and some of his one-shots. I didn't read this yet, but Bad Idea got $10 from me. Shame on them. I bought all of Warren Ellis's Authority in floppies for like $0.25 each. I started reading Planetary, blew my mind. I'm like, damn, okay, I see where Hickman gets some of his influence from. I'm really liking Warren Ellis, and I hadn't read a lot of his stuff before outside of some of his Moon Knight. This is necessary to read, they say, before reading The Authority, because I guess this is the introduction of Apollo and Midnighter. So I found it for $7, and I'm gonna read it. But I'm gonna finish Planetary first, I believe. And I'm in the second trade of Planetary, and damn, it's good. And I started reading a little bit of his New Universal, which didn't take off, but that's really cool. And I've been reading a little bit of his Global Frequency, I think in 2 issues. Damn, that's crazy too. Warren Ellis was like the cinematic dude.
And you know how you benefited from waiting to read Planetary?
Oh, because there was a bunch of like stops and delays and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Early Image laughed at the schedule in which Planetary came out.
Damn, that's bad. If
Yes,
Early
it
Image
is.
is laughing at it, it's really bad. Yeah, I heard like Warren Ellis is having like some health issues or whatever, and John Cassaday couldn't wait, so he had to like go take other gigs and then come back. I'm glad they finally finished it. Luckily, our good friend Paulo, who Breen probably talks to Paulo more than the rest of us. He did a bunch of Stormwatch videos on his YouTube channel. I just was searching for Stormwatch stuff, and then I was like,
By the way, did you pick up any Portuguese the other night?
oh, when I was in the stream, a little bit. They talk so fast.
I turned on. I see you in the chat, and then I see. Sorry, Skip. This stream is in Portuguese. It's like,
Now, I thought we were going a different direction with that. He was picking up women.
Oh, well, I don't discriminate. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, wait. Are these books I actually... Okay, I read way more books than I thought I did. All right, we're going to jump in. We're going to go fast. Rom V is doing the Lord's work in Detective Comics 1067. The first issue was really good, and then the second one was okay, and the third one was better, and then it just keeps getting better and better. And that's what I tell everybody. Ram V will hit you really hard with issue number 1, and then he drops you down, and then he just keeps taking you up and up and up and up and up and up. And he never drops you off. He just leaves you in heaven. He's a beaut. Action Comics 1050. Skip Action Comics Superman.
What?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, Ding Dong. The Kent is dead. John Kent is gone. Well, he's on his way out. And Dragata. Nick Dragata. That's my guy. Yeah. So Nick
That's why
Dragata did some art.
Dragata.
he's not on his way out, Skip. He is out.
Clap for Eric Breen, everybody. He'll be here all night.
He's on his way in.
He's on his way in. I got the Lee Weeks cover. Oh my gosh, Skip bought 2. I did. I like Lee Weeks, and I liked Super Sons. I was one of those people. I like it. I didn't read all of it. I'm not Tevye, but I liked it. It was cute. Who is Tevye, right?
You mean what was the other one? Mr. Tehillim?
Tehillim, T29, G to see you. Of course, I got the Alex Ross one because I got the facsimile of it not that long ago, and the Ice Cream Man homage issue that used this cover was the best. That's really what got me into liking that cover.
Wait, was Ice Cream Man lifting it up too?
Yes, actually he was. Ricardus was. Yes, he was, aka Zach. Issue 11, I already talked about it. He can't land the plane. I'm annoyed by all the dialogue, but I love the art. Batman 130.
Did you say he pulled a Scott Snyder?
I did not, because he did not. He pulled a James Tynan, who it was a student of Scott Snyder. So he did pull a Scott Snyder. Look at RDV playing 4D chess.
This is not fair. You have an issue that I did not get.
I mean, I technically have 2 because I got that Sword of Azrael, and that was not supposed to be out either.
That's also
I'm not gonna.
true.
So I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna. I wasn't spoiling much of any of them, but I will say I'm glad that this got. I did not like how 6 ended.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad this is better and switch gears. I was tired of constant action. Gosh, treat me gentle a little bit. You spank and then you rub. You don't just spank. Anyway, yeah, this is better, but I don't like the last thing that Bruce Wayne said. If Chip Zdarsky's trying to get us to believe something that I don't want to believe, when he didn't even have to put it in there. We are where we are. We're there now. Just keep taking us there. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
See, now I have to read it.
You should. You should read it. And
Yeah.
yeah, you already know. I love this. Eric Breen loves it too. He just doesn't know it yet. Breen, one day you will see the light. Trust me, my friend. But
I pissed myself laughing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just peed myself.
yeah, did you? Are you a pee boy? Are you a pee boy?
I like the pee on my pee. Remember, Bendis's caca poo poo is Tolstoy compared to that page.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I bought way too many Action Comics. That's all I'm gonna say. I bought way too
that's
many.
a more expensive variant.
Wow.
Yeah. I paid. But I'm supporting my boy Nick Dragata.
There you
Nick
go.
Dragata more.
And the guy's like, I feel so bad in my mansion right here.
Well, he ain't doing that good. But he done all right. He ain't doing that good. Anyway, so I have to show these 2 at the same time. So I'm gonna show this one first, so it gets some love. Plush, you're all furries deep down inside. Everyone's a furry when you turn the lights out, right?
Where's Ash? Ash is definitely one.
Man, it just looks like he took Five Nights at Freddy's and put it on acid.
Yeah.
Maybe they did, and maybe Spawn joined because I got the Spawn cover.
Oh, they just Spawn. I thought it was a dragon behind him.
No, it's a Spawn cover because this is an Image comic. My homie Rico did the color. Shout out to Rico. And I love these creators. I love the art style. I love the wacky, highly absurd stories. They give people good voices. It's good dialogue. You're either into the concept or you're not. But what I will say is if you saw, if you can think of what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy and even Peacemaker, where he takes these outcast, kind of downtrodden people, but shows you how they're human just like you, so you get an emotional thread in there and then tells you a wacky story along the way. This is very much the same formula. It's not a carbon copy, but he effectively does the same thing. So he has to take absurd scenarios and then he will put human through lines in them and then be like, okay, I guess I can relate to a furry. So there you go. This other one, I can't show you the whole cover. So this one came out a while ago, but I put in an order. And it finally came in. I got Gun Honey.
Oh,
issue number 3.
Oh,
you'll have to show me that offline. Actually, no, I think you did post on Discord group.
I think it was in the Discord.
Whoa, we got a nip slip there. Be careful there.
Had a little nip slip right there. Did you guys see that?
It's
a little
very
bag
plush.
and board slip.
It's a very plush cover.
Yeah.
It is
Anyway,
very, very plush. Very
So-
shagalicious, baby.
it's funny you say shag because there is some carpet in there.
Hey.
So that wooding, and that, my friends, are the comics that I got this week.
What about the
Thank
wolf
you.
one?
That one's behind me, right over my shoulder. You can see that right there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Your copy, actually, I have a closer copy. Your copy,
Yeah, because I got
is right here.
That's
So there
that
you
bad
go.
idea book. Yeah, from Mr. Venditti.
Yes, it
That
is.
just looks so great, dude.
It
Still ha-
does.
I still haven't read it yet, but it's got Tomas Giarello art. Okay.
Yeah. Is he smoking or is that this breath? Can't tell.
Yeah, I
get a
can't
breath,
tell
yeah.
either because I haven't read it. But did you see the Tomas Giarello art? You're talking about
Yeah,
smoking. I got Tomas Giarello right here.
A bunch
That
of monkeys in
was-
there.
Awesome.
Yes. Anyway,
That looks amazing.
that is
Yeah.
all, people. I have to be
God
going here soon.
doggone bad idea for not being anywhere in Louisiana. God
All
dog.
right.
Dog them.
All right, so that's it for us tonight. Unless Eric Breen wants to just show us some of the books he's pricing.
No, I'm good. Like I said,
Right.
I haven't blown my nose in almost a minute. I'm celebrating.
I can't tell if your voice is getting deeper or not. It just sounds the same.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, you don't sound congested. It's all coming right out.
It's all up in my nose, and but I guess I always sound like this anyway. So
And it's just like you have less cigarettes now because you're blowing your nose constantly.
well, the only time my nose isn't running is when there's smoke running through it.
All right, so that is it for tonight, guys. I hope you guys had fun. We went almost as long as a TNT basketball game.
Yep.
Well, the reason I know how long those are because when I want to watch a show, I have to wait till it's done. Yeah. So if you like this, what we're doing here, if you guys liked John's, I put John Skip and Eric Breen's links to the YouTube channels in the description, so you can go give Breen a subscription or subscribe to him. You know, Breen will put a video out, or he may not. That's the gamble. But check out his collection, dude, and just cry, and just because he'll never have something like that unless you show up at his house.
Yeah.
And then think about that. He doesn't. What he has, some of the guys in the fossils have 2 or 3 times much more than that. Right, and yeah, check. Skip, your channel is what's it called? The Dead Comic? what is your? It's Skip and Taj. What's your URL though? The comic.
Oh, I gotta change that. Yeah, that's
Calling Dead?
old. Yeah, something like that. It's not really important. Search for Skip and Tosh. You'll find me there. Okay.
Okay. So the calm down warning. That's what it is. Yes. Yeah. So I have all this. Yeah. Thank you once again for jumping on, Skip. I know you're busy supporting your boys, the Kings. You know. John, once again, thank you.
Like the beam.
John's Comic Kings, he's on Tuesday nights. He's also he's been doing some stuff on Saturday mornings with his daughters, getting them into comic books. Huge X-Men fan, John is, so he's always showing off his slab books of like 6 or 7 of the same freaking copy. Because he just likes buying he sees the issue, he buys again. He's like, now I got all these freaking like copies. Like, oh well. I mean, when you find your holy grail and you find it's affordable and you find 4 more copies and it might be a grade higher or a little bit more, you're like, I'm just waiting for him to crack them open, the slabs. But like I said, I enjoy doing this every week. I mean, I like having new people on. I was talking to John before we went live. Like, John likes things that I don't like, and that's great about that because I don't. It's cool to be with like-minded people, but it's also to be with people who like things that you don't like, and just going to see their reasonings. And I'm just wondering, what drugs are they taking, and how much are they? All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow night. There is no retrospective, so Breen, you can take a moment of relaxation.
No more reading. Thank goodness.
We're not reading tomorrow either.
Well, we probably will be reading tomorrow. As far as I know, we still are. As far as Sunday nights, we might do a reading. Depends. It's New Year's. It's New Year's Day, right? Yeah.
All is quiet.
On New Year's Day. I have a reminder set every year to play that at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, Graphic's out of town tomorrow, but so he won't be with us. But
All
if
right.
we read,
Light the beam. Light the beam.
Wow, you're in the. What happened to your lights, man?
I lit the beam. Your team just made me light the beam, bro. I lit the beam.
Oh, behind you. That's your beam. It's the purple light.
Yeah, it's my purple. It's my beam, dude.
That's I never want to have a black light in your room because you never know what you're gonna find.
I know what I'm gonna find.
Hey.
The beam, the freaking beam. We just lit it again. Bam. There you go. You're welcome.
All right.
All
I always
right,
thought that
gotta go.
purple. I always thought that purple was more to like New Orleans or some other.
New Orleans, it's royalty, and we're the kings. It's a regal color. Light
Yeah.
the beam.
Purple, if you're in Louisiana, purple is with LSU, purple and gold. That's the
Us farmers. When you say light the beam, I'm thinking like, hey, light my barn on fire. The beam, main support beam. But there you go. That's your farmer joke. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys enjoyed tonight, please, if you're done so, please leave a like. I saw we had at least about 9 likes on here earlier when I checked out. And that's kind of cool. Thank you for that. Subscribe to John, to Skip, to Brain, and to here if you haven't already done so. And if you want to help us more, share out the stream with friends and family or whoever, your local comic book shop people you hang out with, just let them know. We like to have people on here. Anybody's welcome to jump on. If you have a good microphone or camera, you can jump on with us, show off your books, just hang out. Or if you can't do that, or if you don't want to, because it's awkward talking to people at the comic book shop, you just get your books run out. We do have a Ko-Fi link because the money goes to basically goes to paying for the Marvel and the DC app, but also the monthly StreamYard app or StreamYard payments. So we use that for reading. It's ko-fi.com, ko/fi.com -Palpatine. And hope to see you guys tomorrow for the reading. And then if we don't see you on Sunday, or I guess we see you on Sunday, we'll hope you had a good New Year's Eve before that. And stay safe and get some Diet Pepsi because Diet Coke is horrible.
Say goodnight, Bagman.
Good night,
yes,
Bang.
please.